Hello, and welcome to Cage by the Page, a podcast where we review and discuss books that keep us hooked. I'm your host, David, and today I'm joined by my co hosts, Wynonna,
Hello.
John,
Hello.
Tiffany.
Hello.
We missed
Welcome
you on the
back.
last one, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So in this episode, we're going to talk about a book called Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery. Okay. The author's name is Brom. Just Brom. It's a dark, thrilling historical fantasy, and it was released in September of 2023. Surprisingly, I didn't even know that. Slewfoot is basically it's set in 1666, so 3 sixes, in a Puritan settlement in Connecticut, where a young widow named Abitha is accused of witchcraft by her neighbors. She finds an unlikely and mysterious ally in a forest spirit named Slewfoot, who offers her a chance to escape her fate, but their bargain comes with a price, as they unleash a series of events that threaten to destroy the settlement and expose the dark secrets of its inhabitants. This book is kind of a blend of horror, folklore, witchcraft. It's got a lot of rich historical details and stunning illustrations. And Tiffany, I think you have the book, so we could actually actually show the cover, because it's actually a really cool cover. Yeah, look at that. I'm assuming that is Abitha. So,
Yes.
there you go. So basically it explores and the illustrations were actually drawn by the author. That was another thing that I was pretty pleasantly surprised by. And so the book explores themes like oppression, freedom, identity, love, while it keeps the reader on the edge of their seats with its twists and turns. And so we're just very excited to share our thoughts and opinions about the book. We'll cover the plot, the characters, the themes, and basically our favorite and least favorite parts about the book. And then we'll give a rating and kind of maybe, I don't know, some recommendations if we have one for other books in similar kind of vein from what we've read in the past. So we're going to start with a spoiler-free review, and then we're going to go into a spoiler-full review after that. So if you haven't read the book, I definitely recommend that you definitely skip the spoiler review. Normally I wouldn't say that, but I really think you should read this book. So I'll just say that. So if you enjoy the podcast, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, hit that notification bell, and share it with your friends. And we appreciate any of your support and feedback. Definitely some comments if you have recommendations for other books in the future. And if you've read the book, definitely tell us about that. So you could also follow us on our social media platforms. They're all Caged by the Page, so pretty easy to follow. So yeah, let's get into it. So I don't know. Let me start, I guess. I love this book. It's a great book. I feel like it was really, really well written. I think coming off the last 2 videos that we've done, the last 2 book reviews, it's definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, for sure.
By a lot in terms of the writing, the characters, and just even just the, I guess, the mythos of kind of Puritan, northern New England kind of town, well, Connecticut, basically. And so it's got that creepy vibe to it, just it mostly the characters themselves, the Puritans. I fucking hate the Puritans. So it was kind of a nice book eventually, when you get to those kinds of parts, about how that's all dealt with. And I would probably say the most challenging part of the book was actually just trying to get through the Puritan shit. But after that, it really ramps up really quickly. And I feel Abitha is a strong, lead character. I really felt for her. I wanted her to just keep exploring kind of the witchy side of her, which comes out early in the book. Her mother and stuff, being into that kind of stuff. And her backstory is very sad. I think a lot of people can probably relate, not being sold off by their father, but like if you lose a parent, that understood you, and that now you're kind of stuck with somebody that doesn't understand you, and you could kind of feel that kind of isolation. I think that was really well kind of addressed in the book as well, to kind of get her aspect. And the whole thing about Slewfoot, who is a massive main character in this book, uh, that was really well done as well. So I'm let one of you guys talk now a little bit, but overall I really enjoyed the book, and I'll come in with some more stuff and give a rating after some of you guys give out your thoughts. So yeah, I don't know, Tiffany, why don't you talk a little bit about Slewfoot?
Yeah, so I really liked this book, or well, I guess loved the book. It was a little slow at first, but it definitely picks up speed. It also reminds me a lot of the movie which I also loved. It was such a great movie. I just always love like folk horror stuff, and this was a really good read. Like even towards the end, like I wanted to finish it, but I also wanted it to last longer.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it could, you
Yeah.
know. So what overall, how did you feel with Abitha as the main character, and kind of her relationship with well, to be fair to this book, the guy's name is not Slewfoot. The demon's name in the book is not Slewfoot. It's it
Well,
that
I mean, I'm sure we're going to get to that later on during the review.
yeah, we are, but I just wanna
I
it kind
wouldn't
of
say it's
feels
all that spoilery because like
I
Slewfoot is just kind of, I
A
guess,
placeholder.
it's like a moniker that's used
yeah.
by the rest of the village, but not really throughout most of the book.
Yeah. And I kind of wanna point out that, if you I don't know, are kind of on the side of like being more open-minded, and maybe like seeing that religion isn't exactly, the be all end all of things, then you can kind of see that maybe the villain of the story isn't what you'd expect it to be, I guess, if we, but we'll go into more in terms of the spoilers, I guess. But yeah, Slewfoot is not really the main bad guy, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what do you think of Abitha and her relationship with that, and just yeah, in general, like as a
I love
character?
I loved her. She was a badass.
Yeah, 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 right? Oh, yeah, it was great. I really it kind of reminded me of the girl from Brave, although the Brave from Pixar.
Hmm.
Yeah, kind of leading her own way, her chart, and also kind of in her description, and even on the cover, like those crazy red locks and stuff. So it just reminded me of that. But okay, so you love the book. That's great. What about you, Wynonna? How about you? How'd you feel?
I really enjoyed the book, but I did struggle through the first half of the book because
Yeah,
I just felt that the pacing was kind of slow. But I will say that the book is very character driven.
yeah,
I would say it's not really all that plot driven, and it's mostly focused on Abitha growing and learning that like my favorite part of this book was the way that it explored the idea of like religious trauma and the dichotomy of being accessible to two religions at once, because like she talks about how her dad was very like militantly Christian,
yeah,
very militantly Puritan, and that's why she was sold off to Edward, who I, whatever, we'll get to him. but but then she also talks about the fact that her mom had been a cunning woman or a witch realistically for like most of her childhood, and she kind of had to battle both sides of that. And I think I wanted more of that. I wanted more conversation around that, but that was my favorite part of the book, was like the conversation that like she's trying to have with the reader about being on both sides, because she
yeah.
talks about that she never really wanted to abandon God,
Right.
though she did identify with being a witch,
Yeah. She
which I
she
think is interesting.
yeah, she definitely there were tons of points in the book where she was like, "Am I going too far? Is this going too far? Am I really going to do this?" Kind of stuff. Between her more, I would say, not really religious, but more like in tune with like the nature of the world, you know, her even her body even knows that she should be doing this. This is the right thing for her, you know, it's in her, you know what I mean? And so it's more like she was really fighting against her own nature, you know,
Yeah.
throughout most of that whole trial for her,
Mhm.
you know. And so I definitely agree. Yeah, it was a very interesting aspect to it, and it was also interesting kind of how the village, you know, took it at first. Like at first they were like, you know, I guess she could do that, you know. They were kind of looking bad at her for like selling like little trinkets and stuff that were, you know, witchy, I guess, in some aspects. And you know, later on in the book you kind of hear about, you know, how the whole, you know, Salem witch trial kind of craziness happens, you know. And so I'm kind of surprised that they were so easy on her in the beginning. And so yeah, I don't know, that was kind of interesting. But then, you know, so John, why don't you tell us how you felt about the beginning of the book, because that's as far as you've gotten.
Well,
And if the viewers are wondering why he's so quiet, it's because he's still reading.
yes, I didn't take the time to read all of it as I should, but fear not, I am almost done, and I'm sure I'll be finished before we get to the parts of conversation near the ending. But overall, the book seems to be very interesting, very well put together. I could understand the pacing when it came down to it being a slower read, and that's just because, like the prior books, it's just description.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of detail that is deeply ingrained into the writing of this book that really does put the person in a more immersed state. It kind of, like the other books, like I said, it kind of
We're
makes
just
you
gonna
feel
get
like
you a shirt that says immersed because you love
but it is actual, it is very detailed, it is more detailed than the last ones we've read, and it adds a lot of value when it comes down to character development, building the scene, building tension, building the atmosphere. There's a lot that makes the reader more entranced in it,
Yeah.
and I personally feel that it's a genuinely good book.
Yeah.
And now having the history behind it with the early settlers in the New England area, you know, the original colonies and so on and so forth, and how it kind of opens up the way that people lived then,
Mhm.
historically, or at least, you know, that we know of anyway, and how dark and brutal and twisted a lot of the methodology that they've had, and how a lot of these laws and rules were implemented on the common people, and also how people are very quick to point the finger and basically cry wolf, accuse someone of something, and very little was done to thoroughly investigate, and
Yeah.
they were very quick to pass judgment, which led to deaths that were for no just reason, and some of them could have been for spite, which is very valid. It could have been for spite, it could have been for personal gain, and that is reflected a lot in this book. Just like, you know, like with the Salem witch trials, it's very, very
Yeah.
reminiscent of that.
Yeah. And like if you've read The Crucible, that is,
Mhm.
and that's like kind of like grade school reading, right? So it's probably a lot of people were forced to, or at least listen to a lecture about it. So yeah, it's definitely like that. It's the accusatory thing, and then the mob mentality goes absolute
Oh
ape
yeah.
shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like it's crazy. I don't know how I would have survived, honestly. I mean, as a white man, I guess I would have been fine. but you
As
know,
a woman, I think you would have been just fine.
so yeah, so I feel like that kind of fever pitch toward the end especially is definitely yeah, it was very enthralling. Like you really wanted to get, just I need to know what happens next. I need to know what happens next. So yeah, and for the time, yeah, it's just putting yourself back there. And again, like John was saying, the way the author wrote this book is so detailed, and you feel like you don't want to miss any you know anything. You know,
Mhm.
so you don't want to kind of go really quick through it or skim through it because you feel like you might miss something if you do that. So yeah, totally agree. So yeah, I guess, overall, if we're gonna talk about ratings now, I'm gonna give it a solid 4.5. 4.5. The reason is, okay, that it's not a 5, because it could be a 5. It's just that slow start. It's just that really hard slow start that I was like, ooh, am I gonna be into this book? Yeah, I felt that. I felt that pang, like that first, I would say, chapter. That first chapter. But once
Yeah,
you get,
30 was it 30 or 31 pages?
yeah,
First
I
chapter?
mean, all of the chapters are decently
Really long.
they're
Yeah.
decent.
They're all decently long, but it seems like that's the way he writes.
Yeah,
That, like, he wants you to really be involved in that moment
Yeah.
in time, and that's how each and every chapter is that, like, he wants the reader involved in the moment, and like you don't get any like background information. It's just like you're going in, you're staying where you are in that story, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, and I feel like that's not even a disservice or anything, and that 4.5 isn't like a big knock or anything. Like, trust me, like, again, it's like a very good, almost like so good it's excellent. You know what I'm talking about? So it's definitely a high rating. I've already, like Tiffany, I know, added all of the guys' backlog of books into their like must read category, and I really do recommend this, to read the rest. I know that on Amazon I saw that he had Krampus, but then I looked at Tiffany's Goodreads and there was like 15 more books that he wrote that I didn't even see when I looked on Amazon. So I was
Yeah.
surprised. So Tiffany, why don't you tell us, what are you gonna give it here?
I gave it 5 stars.
5 stars. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, even though the beginning was kind of slow, the last half just was so good that I was like, I can't give it anything under 5 stars.
Yeah. I think there was definitely a point in the book too that the pace picked up so much faster,
Mhm.
in terms of, maybe not in terms of like shortening any of the descriptions or anything, the language, but more like just what was happening became so enthralling that you kind of wanted to just keep going, pushing yourself.
Right.
So we'll get into that. Wynonna, how about you?
I'm gonna descend just a little bit, 4.25,
Okay.
and it's because the pacing really fucked with me in the beginning. Like, it
Really?
was, I found it, I think because I'm so used to reading plot-driven books that it was challenging for me to be in a character-driven book because there was nothing in the beginning, there was not a lot going on, like
Yeah.
in the beginning you're really getting into who Abitha is like becoming, you're getting into how she's interacting with the demon Slewfoot, but you're not getting a lot of like, why does this matter?
Mhm.
Like you're not getting why you don't get to that fever pitch until like what 250-ish is kind
Mhm.
of where you get to the like 250 pages in is where you get that fever pitch and where you're like super interested in it.
Yeah, you're like with her through a lot of hardships up to that point.
Yeah, and there's a lot
And
of,
even then that's a huge hardship. So
I would say like you're grinding. Like
Yeah.
think about it in like I guess like an RPG where you have to keep going back to like keep farming new stuff, right? Like that's
Yep.
where you are in the beginning of this book for a good, I would say, like 200 to 250 pages, which for me was a struggle.
I will say you can't blame Abitha for that, because
Absolutely not.
because there's a lot of reasons why she took the time to really build herself up to kind of fully investing herself into, well, what happens in the end, which again is great and you should read. So
Yeah, so 4.25s only because of the pacing. And there was a couple of other things that I really wanted out of the book, which was like more of the witchy side of things, more of kind of the backstory of one of the characters that we'll get into much later. I think everybody knows who I'm talking about. Because he's talked about a lot,
Mhm.
and then he just kind of shows up,
Mhm.
and then he's done
Mhm.
pretty
Yeah.
quickly. And I think like we didn't really get a lot of why he matters. and he seemed like kind of a side plot.
I wanna put like maybe you know, if you've kind of, I guess, if you've seen Princess Mononoke, you know,
Yeah.
I think that kind of it has a lot of very similar veins to what was portrayed in this book, like in terms of the forest spirits and
Yeah.
kind of how humans interact with forest spirits and kind of like just abusing and being greedy and, you know, taking and taking and taking, which is no different than today, you know. So I feel like if you've seen Princess Mononoke, then, you know, you'll kind of even fill in the blanks, I think. You know,
Gotcha.
there's a lot of context that you can just fill in of just like who that guy was and all of that. But yeah, I understand what you're talking about. How about you, John? What kind of, I know
I
you
mean,
didn't get to the end yet, but
Well, I mean, honestly, even like I'm approaching the end right here. I literally just have 10 pages left.
okay.
This is a lie. I do not believe you.
Chapter 16 is that not the last chapter?
How many pages you got left? What page are you on?
No, I apologize. 20 pages left.
What
Yeah.
page?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just give us an idea.
I misread it. It's because my vision's a little fuzzy. But
Yeah, because you've been reading all day.
All day.
yes, I have. I fell asleep during it, and then I woke back up and continued reading.
Yeah.
That's how interesting it was for me, honestly. Yeah, I did cram it, so that's kind of my fault for not reading ahead of time.
Okay.
But there's other things that I had to
It's
deal with.
fine.
So
ADHD.
I mean, I guess, but I had more pressing things I had to do.
But-
However, I will side with Tiffany, and even though I'm not at the end, but as I'm reading it, I think I might give this a 5 star as well. I'm strongly feeling it, and the reason why, understanding the slow pace at the beginning, but I'm very patient, and I can go through things very, very easily that are long-winded, very drawn out because I'm intrigued. And
I mean, as we can hear, you're long-winded yourself.
yes, but at the same time, it's the book itself I fully enjoyed because, like I said at the beginning,
You're still reading.
no, I fully enjoyed because it felt really rich with detail. It felt, like I said, very immersive, and a lot of the story with Abitha and all the trials and tribulations, what she had to go through, her losses, her gains, as well as her wittiness, her ability to one up, even to the very end. Like, it is very, very interesting, and just seeing all the development from all these different avenues that is being taken is just very, very difficult for me to put the book down because I just want to continue to read. And the chapters are long; they are extremely long,
Mhm.
which gives a short chapter number for the book. But any long book with short chapters, it's the same amount of reading. I feel the author did that intentionally to ensure that you could get a big piece of the book every single time you read a chapter. Then you could have a break in between, like, well, I read X amount of pages. This is a lot for, one sitting, but it was a lot of information. A lot has happened. So I'm satisfied with reading that one chapter, and I can read another chapter the following day or the following hour,
Or
depending.
like John, all at once.
Yes, or I mean all at once. Which, I mean, that does actually show a lot in regards to high yielding interest. Because if I didn't really have an interest in it, you know what? I didn't complete the read. I'm sorry, and I don't want to complete the read because the book is bogus.
Mhm.
But
But he finished 7
Well, that one you can just shit out in like an afternoon, honestly.
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, like, the book is still really good, and I'm very, very in tune with it. It feels really good. It feels a little personal as well. And it does bring true to like several things that I do like. I remember this one movie that we watched a while ago. It was about witchcraft and trials, but it was a Spanish one. Do you remember that one?
In Spanish?
Yeah, remember?
I feel like we've only watched one movie in Spanish recently.
No, it was about
a creepy child.
Was it on Netflix or something?
I
Most
think
likely.
so.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, okay, but John, what is the rating?
What's your
Oh,
rating?
it's a 5.
It's a 5. It's a 5. Okay,
It's a 5.
5. Put that down. Okay, so at this point, we're just gonna go into the spoiler section. So if you don't want to get spoiled, please leave. Okay, so basically, it's
Oh, shut up.
so basically the book starts out. We're kind of introduced to a shadow. We don't know what it is. It turns out to be Slewfoot, the demon. And you know he's kind of it's kind of in the past, I guess, in this time frame of the book, but we don't know that yet. And we see this shadow split apart. And then we're in a cave, and you know, basically there's a goat that this demon is munching on and kind of getting the blood and viscera and gore, and kind of, you know, empowering himself a little bit. And there's like these little wild folk. They're little animals, basically. One is sky, one is forest, and one is creek. The three of them are basically a raven, a possum, and I believe a fish. But they all have faces of little human children, I guess, but have really sharp teeth. So that's kind of what we're kind of introduced to a little bit in the beginning. And then we're introduced to Abitha. And so basically, she's looking for her goat. The goat has ended up in a cave, and it's at the bottom of the cave, and it's dead. But she's not gonna go venturing any further because she, you know, doesn't want to get axed. And but she hears the little children echoing in the cave with laughter. And then as she turns around and heads back out because she's fucking freaked out, she sees this massive, big, beautiful, well, beautiful. I guess not beautiful, but a big red tree. But that tree isn't actually there. It's just kind of a hallucination of a tree. It's actually just a little sapling. And that's kind of foreshadowing of what, you know, that tree is to her in the end, later on in the book. And as she's struggling, and I forgot to mention, she was, you know, looking for a goat, and because she's kind of new to the farm life,
Hmm.
the Puritan life, you know, we kind of mentioned in the non-spoiler section, she's been sold off as a Puritan, and it didn't seem like she was doing any of that kind of stuff back in England, which is where she was originally from. Um, so her husband goes looking for her. His name is Edward. He's a sweet guy. Did you guys think that Edward was on the spectrum or
Maybe
something?
a little bit. I mean, he did.
Yeah.
He walked with a little bit of a limp too. So like he had a little bit of physical issues, and then also his mental and emotional state. He just portrayed himself as a very big pushover, but a kind heart
I
at
would
the
say
same time.
he's kind of like that character from Of Mice and Men, who's like,
Yeah.
Oh, Lenny.
yeah, like
Mhm.
super sweet and kind, but like not all there,
Yeah.
really paying attention all the time.
And but we do find out he's very artistic, which is great. And you know, to be fair, with Abitha's coaching, he kind of stands his ground, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's completely like hopeless or anything.
And we'll get to him, but I feel if he didn't grow up with a brother like Wallace, he could have had more of a backbone.
Yeah, so Edward picks up Tabitha. That was the other problem. I kept on wanting to say Tabitha the entire time. Tabitha.
See, and I kept doing like Abigail.
Yeah.
Time I would
I
read.
kept thinking of Crucible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
in the back of my head the whole time.
Yeah. So anyway, they're making their way back to the farmhouse. Now the farmhouse is actually part of, I don't remember, was it part of his father's land, or was that still oh, it was a part of
Yeah.
his father's land. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're heading back to the farmhouse. He does not notice the tree because it's a magic tree. Let's just get that out of the way. Um So they're heading back, and yeah, Wallace is Edward's brother. He's a big old fucking douchebag. He wants to eat them out of house and home, and basically be like, yeah, buddy, you know, this is how it is. We're doing it for Papa, you know, father. And just
It
kind
was
of
like Papa. It was very weird how they addressed what they were actually doing it for. Because I initially thought Papa was father, i.e., who we're talking about, but it wasn't.
oh no, I'm talking about
Be
Wallace's
Wallace,
dad.
who was having like internal monologues about like, you know, we have to do what's right for Papa.
Wallace. I mean, said Wallace?
Is that not his name?
No,
Yeah.
it's Forrest.
No,
No, no, no,
Are you
no.
talking
no.
about the demon?
No, I'm
No.
talking about Edward's brother.
He's
Oh,
got-
Wallace.
His name is Wallace.
Oh, Papa. Like, yeah, Papa. Papa. I thought you were talking about Papa.
Papa,
No,
Papa.
We're kind
The-
of mixing it with something else talking about.
There is a papa, yeah.
When you're reading at the same time.
There is a papa as well. We later learned that the tree's name is Pawpaw. All right, let's just get that out of the way. So anyway, Edward was so Wallace pays them a visit. Abitha hates Wallace. Not only that, Edward has been like toiling on land. He's been making it right. But Wallace made some bad investments in tobacco plants, and they all withered and died. And now he's like, "Well, I got to sell your land. Sorry, brother." And he doesn't even say it like that. It's more like, "Listen, this is my land, guys. I'm just letting you live here," even though Edward did all the work. So obviously Abitha's not happy with the news. And Wallace keeps on reminding her, "Hey, shut up, lady. You're a lady. You're not allowed to talk in this Puritan house." And kind of is trying to get Edward to like also beat her. But obviously Edward's not into that. He's a nice Puritan man. So yeah,
He was a nice person in general. Like
Yeah,
he was very caring.
yeah.
And to a fault, but he
Yeah.
was very caring.
Yep. So Abitha, apologizes to Wallace because she sees that Edwards really does not want, because basically if you do anything wrong, they go run to the Reverend, or and just like shame you and put you in stockades and kind of whip you and throw shit at you if you don't follow their stupid Puritan rules. I mean, stupid now, I guess it's just how it was back then. So basically, yeah, he's gonna go to the Reverend tomorrow morning with Edward, and they're just gonna settle the whole debt. And Edward is indebted to
Business.
Wallace. Yeah, the business. So Abitha and Edward head to town overnight. Abitha kind of coaches Edward and is like, "Listen, you got to fight against Wallace." Once they're in town, they see a person in the stockades. He's being bullied, and Abitha is like very sympathetic. She tries to take pity on him, but the kids keep throwing manure at him. Not a fun time.
Yeah, definitely fine. You're getting constantly shat on. That's literally what it is.
Yeah. And so after that, they get to the church. They do the little church service, and she actually meets up with a girl named, where was it? I lost her name. But anyway, it's basically like a servant girl, and she Helen, yeah, a servant girl, and she's in love with Wallace's son. And she really thanks. I think she takes a charm from Abitha. Because Abitha gained a lot of knowledge from her mother back in England about how to use charms and stuff, and so she basically made one as like a love charm, right?
Yeah.
Like a charm, kind of like a spell, just to try to get them together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like it would force love, it would just enhance what was already there.
Yeah, so it wasn't like black magic or something.
Yeah.
It was literally a container of foreplay.
Yeah.
Just to get them going.
So as soon as she hands over the charm, the Reverend's wife spots Abitha and is like, "Hey, keep that shit on the download, and clean yourself up a little bit, because your hair's a little bit of a mess. It's peeking out of the bonnet, and they don't like that. And obviously they don't want to be like hawking those kind of wares out in the middle of the town square or something." So she leaves, and Abitha goes and sees Edward, kind of standing his ground, being a man, finally. And the Reverend's like, "Listen, Edward has put in a lot of work onto that land, so I think we should give him the right to, pay off his debt, rather than you going and selling it to some asshole in Hartford." And I think we learned a little bit that the Reverend has had business with those people before back in Hartford who want,
Was
Wallace's
that
land.
Reverend Smith? Was it
Carter? Reverend Carter.
Carter had dealings, and the other one was the fair one, if I remember correctly.
No. Reverend Carter is the fair one, and then there's a Reverend Smith who's an asshole.
Yeah, because Reverend Smith is friends with Wallace.
Yeah, yeah.
I could have sworn Carter, like he was fair, but he had prior bad blood with the folks in Hartford.
Yeah, he had bad blood with the magistrate.
With the magistrate.
Yep. And so Reverend
And
Carter.
remember, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah.
The reason why that he was able to Edward was really able to hammer the shit down, for the whole farmland was because one, obviously, Abitha coached him, but at the same time, also used religion, like all those the godliness type of thing.
Yeah.
Like you would go against the will of God, basically, or like the promises kept. It's an ungodly thing to do. So they were like, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, we wouldn't want to be, putting a front against God for this shit. So
yeah, this was the agreement, and we should hold to our word in the same way that God would. That was kind of like
which is really what Wallace was really pissed off about as well. But he had no leg to stand on.
Yeah, and in the end, they kind of have a reprieve, I think, up until October, basically. So Abitha and Edward get home. It's late, and they kind of get a little bit closer. She's finally happy that he's kind of standing up against his brother, who's a dickhead. But she's, we kind of learn a little more about Edward. Like he's okay with her reading books, which is not really I guess a cool thing to do back then for the Puritans. Those kinds of books anyway. Not aside from the Bible. The Bible's just fine. The only thing, right?
The only literature that you need to read is the Word of God.
Yeah, and so we also learned that Edward is like a talented artist, and he's got some burlesque pictures that he's drawn out of Abitha, which she obviously enjoys. So she kind of gets that desire out of him that she's kind of been craving, which she's kind of been missing since they've gotten together. It's been kind of more like an arrangement, which it was because she was sold by her father, who is a freakish Puritan, dumbass. So there is that. And so after that, they get together, but there are some shadowy figures looming just in the shadows, watching them as they copulate. So anyway, while we get a little more with Wallace.
Yeah, they were basically just fucking watching that shit happen.
Yeah,
they were just like low-key cucky.
Well,
the
listen.
Wild folk were,
the wild folk were watching some wild shit.
The wild folk were wild, baby. And yeah, I mean, like back in the day, what else did you have to do? Just you could spy on other people having sex. That's pretty much it.
Shit.
So Wallace heads back.
Tell it to Ansel the
oh yeah.
Crazy.
And we should mention Ansel was mentioned in the very beginning here when they were all at Sunday Mass, I guess. Where he was basically pointing out, oh, the devil's walking everywhere, blah blah blah. And but the Reverend's like, listen, Ansel, you're a dickhead and you're late. So why don't you sit right here in front of me on your knees?
Yeah, kneel before God.
Yeah, kneel before God. Pray away your, tardiness, I guess.
That's a 3-hour mass. That's insane.
Every reverend has to say 1 hour per.
It's crazy. Yeah, I would never be able to do it.
God, kill me.
Reverend. There was Reverend Smith, Reverend Carter. There was a third.
Was there Collins?
Honestly,
could be.
Honestly, those two other reverends don't really matter. They
I mean, Smith like mattered just a tiny bit, but that's more towards like near the ending.
Yeah, end. Yeah, basically. So Wallace heads back to Hartford. He kind of has to tell the magistrate there and this Lord something or other, Mansfield, that basically, hey, listen, guys, Reverend Carter, he fucked me, and my brother, he fucked me. Well, my brother didn't fuck me. He's an idiot. I'm sure I can convince him otherwise. But this
his
girl, Abitha,
his wife is such a heathen.
Yeah, she's a heathen. She won't listen, and she's poisoning his mind. So basically, they give they give Wallace a letter to give to Carter to be like, hey bitch, that kind of thing. And so yeah, so at this point, Abitha and Edward head to the cave that their goat was lost in, and because it's so fucking creepy, they're like, okay, let's just seal this cave up. And at that point, that's when he kind of mentions Slewfoot. That's kind of the first time we hear, I think, the name Slewfoot, but I might be wrong. And so he kind of also gets a little weird. Oh, I gave in to my temptations and we had sex, and it's just not good for the Puritans, I guess, to do it that way. Or his
I
like
didn't
burlesque
really
pictures.
I didn't really understand that because like
I agree.
they're married. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Well,
I-
it's because of the Puritan belief, like, oh, this you cannot be so lustful, you can't be so sinful. Like it's very
Well, it's also, I think it also has to do with the burlesque pictures that he's been like drawing of her too.
But it's his wife. It's not like it's not like he's like doing this for like random townsfolk women and wives. He's
Look at my
doing it
wife's
for
titties.
his wife. And it's for but the thing is it was for
You
his
know, that would have been a crazy fucking business back then. A crazy. If OnlyFans exists today, that
if you think that didn't exist back then, ridiculous. Because there
I
were
mean, I don't know.
prostitutes back then.
Do we have any examples? I need to see these for research.
that's
For
a
research.
Who did like I had a professor who did like papers and stuff on Victorian pornography.
I didn't know there was even a class.
A connoisseur
that's
of
awesome.
the fine arts of nudity
Yeah,
back in the day.
That's
The thing is
amazing.
that humans are sexual. It's completely normal. So,
no,
like,
no. I agree, and I know. I mean, obviously, the Japanese have had,
Hey,
plenty.
that's a whole different thing.
That's a
whole
different book
story.
altogether. That's a different book altogether.
There was an event, and then after that, history was altered forever, and now we have all this wonderful stuff that comes from them.
Okay, so my point is, yes, I agree. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's just, I think the religion did poison it, back then.
Yeah. And it was more of like a means for procreation. You weren't actually supposed to like enjoy it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it doesn't make any logical sense though. Because
Yeah.
they force you to wait till marriage because it's this like sacred act. But then when you're in marriage, it's like, no, still don't do it. Still don't enjoy it. And don't enjoy your partner's like body or like how they look or anything like that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, and I don't believe that the Puritan lifestyle fit Abitha either.
Yeah.
In the end.
Well, it sounded like based on the description of her life beforehand was
Yeah.
that she lived in London. She was like a city girl almost,
Yeah.
like she grew up in an area where like she had no access to farmland that wasn't if she lived.
Yeah, her father was a teacher, I believe, and her mother was a healer. She was using like ointments and potions and stuff, like witchy stuff. But they seem to have helped anyway, and she was trying.
They were for the good. They were for the good, and that's what she really kind of focused on. Now she is revealed later that she also had an understanding of the deeper, darker secrets.
Mhm.
Right, but it wasn't uncommon back then to have like medicine men or like
Mhm.
medicine women
Yeah.
that specifically just used herbs and potions and ointments and things like that
Yeah.
to help with medical processes, whatever they were, like
Mhm.
just sicknesses or surgeries or things like that. It wasn't an uncommon thing even back then.
Mm-hmm. So they're at the cave, and Abitha also wants to put up like a little like charm to keep whatever is down there in there forever. So Edward gets upset. Well, aside from him being upset, Abitha gets upset at him being upset, which I thought was kind of funny. But I agree, it was weird that he was upset to begin with. So she runs off, but he starts hearing the goat bleeding, or not bleeding, bleating, bleeding.
Mhm.
Yeah. Right. So he makes his way into the cave, and as soon as he starts going in, he starts hearing the laughter of little kids and stuff. And he's like, "Oh Jesus!"
Shit, fuck that.
Yeah, and then he sees a little kid, at least the face of a little kid, and then the little kid has really sharp, needly like teeth, and from that he falls deep into the
Well,
cave.
he tried to like jolt up first, and then he hit the head on the low ceiling, and then he doubled down into the pit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
he catch the kid, but it was a fish.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a fish, and he was like, nope. And then he tried to go out of the cave, but it was low hanging
Mhm.
ceiling. So when he tried to lunge out, he hit his head because of the fear and the shock, and then he tumbleweeded down to the pit of despair.
The
Yeah.
abyss.
So he ends up at the bottom, and at that point we meet the wild folk and Slewfoot again. This time, instead of a goat, they're gonna eat him, and they do. They eat him. They kill him, and they also promise that they're gonna kill Abitha tonight. Um, so you know, Wallace heads back to Edward's farm. He sees Abitha running around with a couple of the neighbors. She's explaining to them that we got to go save Edward. He's in the cave. But none of them want to go in that fucking cave. So basically, they find
Yeah,
a
they're like,
tooth.
nah, man.
Yeah, they like find a tooth like very near the edge of the cave, and they're like, "Oh, this is Edward's. It's done. He's done. Forget
Yeah,
it."
he kissed one of the rocks as he went down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they have a funeral for him. It's very terrible.
Quick.
Yeah,
It's
quick.
quick. Like, if you're common folk, we don't give a shit. No words. We're just gonna bring you out to this plot, throw you
Well,
in
the
the ditch.
explanation was basically like if you were to say any words, it would be like idolatry, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It would be like speaking of God, and you shouldn't like no one should have that kind of.
Now, but the thing is, there is mention that her mother had a big lavish funeral that her father paid up for.
Yeah.
But it did not really resolve his grief or her grief. There's just no resolving it, no matter what kind of funeral you give. She gave a few nice words about Edward, that he was a nice man, he was a good man, which she wasn't even allowed to do. It was kind of a weird thing. You're not even supposed to say a couple of things for the dead, which okay.
For her own husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then she like stopped as everybody was dipping out once they lopped the body into the fucking hole.
yeah.
It's like, may I have a word? And then she just makes one quick statement, and then everybody just turns back around like, bye.
See ya. Yeah.
Mhm.
like,
There at this point of the book, there are no friendly faces in the crowd.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just know that. So we're back to the spirits. The spirits call the main bad big demon looking goat, half man guy, which I don't know if you can find because he did draw, I believe, an image of the goat man in the book, but they call him Father. But he's also known as Slewfoot by the
It's towards the back. It's like the last couple of.
Yeah.
yeah, there we go.
Beautiful
that.
art. That book
Wow.
is actually pretty baller. Like,
I actually think I might buy a physical.
I might buy
copy
a copy of it too, because the artwork
Yeah.
itself very very dark but extremely beautiful.
Mhm.
Honestly, I would love to get like prints of the actual art because I will say the
Mhm.
art is really nice.
Mhm.
So yeah, now we're introduced like fully to Slewfoot slash Father. Okay, so for now he's gonna be called Father, and to the little children animal spirits, which are the spirit folk. One's a possum, one's a fish, one's Sky, the raven, and basically Father's has amnesia. He can't remember what he was and why he is what he is, and every time he gets a little bit of blood, he does kind of feel better, and his strength is returning, but he kind of also feels awkward. He's not really sure what to do, but the three little spirits, especially the possum, which is Forest, he really wants Father to go out and kill everybody. You got to go slay all the villagers, plus the woman, plus anybody else that comes in our way. And you know it's hinted that a previous native tribe of the land before the Puritans, Father had like been the forest and the spirit protector and stuff, and yeah, and basically Forrest kind of manipulates him into going and finding Abitha. Abitha's back at the farm. She's trying to pick up the harvest for Edward. Oh, I think I forgot to mention that Wallace comes back from the magistrate's town, the Hartford town, with that letter and gives it to Reverend, being like, "Hey, Reverend, if you don't do what the magistrate and like
The greater government says.
yeah, the greater government says some shit's gonna come down on you, but the Reverend's like, no, 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 we're gonna give Abitha her time, even though Edward did die. There is, precedent that she can work the land. If she can pay you in, what's been agreed upon for the land, she has the right to do so. You can't
Yeah.
just you can't just forcibly take it from her.
Yeah, the Reverend is pretty much like, while it's fucked, we're gonna make sure that like this is a fair and even situation. You may still end up with the land. We have no way of knowing whether or not she can pay the money. But we're gonna give her the opportunity to try, and it's based on whatever legal precedent from another widow that had a similar dealing.
Yep. So Abitha's back at the farm. She's trying to like mount the donkey with the yoke and stuff to kind of start plowing. She's trying to grow corn, and so she's not very strong. She's struggling. She can't really do it. That's when Father comes in and grabs her. And as soon as he grabs her, some sort of magical connection happens where they kind of can see what each other is thinking and feeling, and she can kind of see into Father's like whole backstory of like the shadow and the splitting apart and the bodies everywhere and the dead, just like that obviously Father must have like brutally slain a lot of people, and she kind of sees how he dies, I guess. And then she also sees the tree again, that big mighty tree, the red crimson oak kind of looking tree. And basically Father is like rattled. She's like, oh, I can't, what the fuck just happened? And he lets her go. As she comes to, she's like terrified and runs into the house, and she goes and gets a bag that her mother had when she was alive. And that's kind of where we get like I guess a little flashback to England, with her mother's funeral, and she's looking for a book of spells and incantations and potions that her mother kind of like used back in the day, and see if she can ward off these demon spirits that are like attacking her. So
She had to do that off dome too. Like she couldn't, like there was nothing she had passed. She had to like shit. My
Yep.
my memory.
Yeah.
Let me put this on. Luckily she had good enough memory to remember as a child what that actually was, like how to actually put that together.
Yep. Well, there's a reason for that, but basically, she picks up this kind of like braid of her mother, that she had. That's kind of like for me, I don't know. I thought it was like a Celtic cross looking thing for some reason. Every time I pictured it, but it's made of hair, and I don't know if at this point we learned that. Yeah, I think we do. It's like 12 generations of
Yeah, there's 12
this.
generations of family.
Yeah, of
Of
this
all
girl.
mothers.
Yeah, all the women of the family for the last 12 generations created this braid. And as soon as she picks up the braid, she kind of gets this like hint of lavender, and which is kind of funny because of Nora and all
I'm
that.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. Why is lavender so special? Lavender and sage in this case, but lavender in general, like it's just, I guess it was a feminine scent.
I think yeah, I think it's just like considered one of those feminine scents. And I think the other reason why they chose it for this is because it's a pretty common herb that it was used in colder climates like
Yeah.
England. So I think there was some like historical context and some like witchy context as well.
So yeah, so the braid. This is still in England. She grabs. This is after her mother's like funeral and stuff. She grabs the braid and kind of hides it, and then and she finds the book of like spells and potions that her mother had. She also wanted to try to save it from her father, basically, but unfortunately, her father bursts in. He finds the book, snatches it from her, and she is begging him to like that she please kind of thing, but unfortunately he's not into the witchcraft stuff anymore. He believes it killed her mother, which it didn't. It was just the plague that killed her, but whatever. So she promises to devote herself to God, uh but yeah, so after that like flashback, Abitha's back at the barn or the farm, and she's just like, you know what, Father, fuck you. She takes the Bible and starts burning it and doing all this incantation stuff to kind of get this like ash, and she spills a little of her own blood, and she uses this powder. She leaves the house, um and she at first thinks that the demon is right outside the house, but it actually turns out to be Wallace, who is another kind of demon. But
Yeah, a human demon, basically, a whole different type of hell on its own fucking merit.
yeah,
Arguably a worse demon than any of the demons that were.
yeah, human demons are the worst. So basically she talks to Wallace about the encounter, but he's obviously like, what the fuck's wrong with you? He's kind of there to, I don't know, fuck with her. So while this like chat is happening, the wild folk and father are kind of watching from like afar. And they keep telling father, hey man, we really need you to start killing people. You're kind of not doing what you we kind of brought you back to kill a lot of people. But he feels this connection with Abitha. So Wallace is like, listen, lady, you were probably just hit over the head by a native or something. Okay, you can't be out here alone trying to yoke a fucking donkey. What are you doing? This isn't for you. So he proposes, listen, why don't you marry my son Isaac? Okay. I don't really care if he's in love with some fucking townie called Helen, which is who Abitha basically gave that little charm to. But Abitha's obviously disgusted by the idea. She's kind of loyal to Helen a little bit because she's the only person that's kind of nice to Abitha. Although I will say, Helen kind of disappears for the rest of the book. Like I thought maybe Helen would have more of a role later down the line, but she really didn't. So
By
yeah.
the way, I just finished the book, so
Yeah, behind the scenes, his phone dies as he's reading the book, so he has to like pull up the epilogue from my Kindle.
That's great.
Yeah, I just finished it, so
that's perfect. That's great. I'm
like
glad.
I said, I'd be
Okay. Is it still a 5?
Oh yeah, for sure. This
Okay.
fucking balls hard, man. I love it.
Balls hard. Okay, sure. Balls hard. Obviously Wallace isn't happy with Abitha's choice. He leaves. She runs into the barn to ward off the demons. Father is like pained by the ash and bewildered. So he gets kind of attacked by spiderlings, which is kind of weird. They're like little black inky spiders, and they're just kind of pulling at him and stuff. And he he flees with the wild folk. Abitha returns to the donkey. She figures out she can just hang a rope and tie it around the yoke and get it onto the donkey. So she figured out a way to kind of master that.
Critical thinking.
Yeah.
After being attacked.
Yeah. It's after you have that near death experience, that's when
I think it's because she ends up becoming kind of like stubborn. She's like, I'm going to make this happen no matter what. To the point where like you get to these next couple chapters where she's taking pails of water, one pail at a time, and is watering the corn. So she's just like this stubborn, I need to get this done. This
Defying
is my
all
land.
odds.
Yeah, like that's
odds.
really where she is in the book.
Yeah. So at this point, father is kind of starting to remember a little bit, but not enough. He's kind of meditating, and he sees like all these old spirits of like woolly mammoths and stuff. So he's been around for a long, long time. The possum's like horrified. what are we doing here? He's like, you're not doing.
Do not invoke the old spirits, you idiot.
Yeah. Basically, they're kind of, now that the spirits of the dead are around, they're kind of like luring him back to the other side, which is not what they want to do. So he's kind of like, you're supposed to be protecting us, you're supposed to be killing people, and so if you do that, the tree, this big beautiful crimson tree called the pawpaw tree, would regrow, and they would get all this magic back, and they'll feel all super powerful again. But he wants to follow the spirits. He sees the spirits and follows, and Forrest is just like beside himself, basically, and they can't really find him. So they're worried that now that father has left them, that the Mamufet, the Mamufet, basically he's a shaman. He's gonna find him, father, and he's gonna, send him back or whatever. They just don't want it to happen.
Yeah, whatever happened last time, they don't want it to happen again, and that was the Mama Fed's fault.
Yeah, so Abitha has a dream. She sees the crimson tree with these beautiful apples, but when she goes to bite it, a viper, a viper comes down, a black viper, like a mamba kind of thing with red eyes, all that. Kind of is like, why don't you eat? Very, what is it, Garden of Eden?
Yeah, don't bite the apple, Eve.
Yeah.
As
Yeah, so and the viper says, "Hey, watch the spiders though," which is kind of a funny thing. So yeah, as soon as she bites it, blood spills out and all these spiders start filling her mouth and she wakes up. It's a horrible nightmare. Although I would say it's pretty cool. That's fucking metal. That's
that's
a
very vivid. Like I fucks with
Yeah.
that.
yeah, I
So
would
that's
yeah,
pretty
seriously. I
She
would
deep
remember
throating a bunch of spiders.
yeah, I would put that in my dream journal, sure.
In your dream journal?
Yeah. So she realizes that she needs to head to church. As soon as she heads out, she sees Edward in the distance, but he's dead. So as she's looking at him, she sees that he has no eyes. Ugh, creepy. And so he's kind of pointing at her in an accusatory manner. So she's kind of worried about what the fuck. It's probably because of all the witchcraft stuff that she was just involved in. Although she was fending for her life, I don't know if that's the only thing that might help. Why wouldn't you use it, right?
Also, it's important to note that like the farm is kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like it's not close to town. Apparently the land is kind of treacherous. Like it's easy to get hurt. It's easy to get, eaten by wolves, whatever.
Yeah, they even say that they're out in the wild. So it's not even like your neighbors would even see.
And that was the big thing too, is that why would they want to give up this land? That's why that's why she's fighting so hard to keep the land, because on top of like hating Wallace's guts and stuff, they put a lot of work and time into like just trying to trim the land and keep it like from being overgrown and stuff. So it's like it's definitely hers to do with, but yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere, like you're saying.
Which
So
like it in this situation, what other choices does she have? Like it's not like you can call the police and be like, "Oh, these demons are chasing me." Like
First
there's
I'm
no
like-
options. There's nobody around. Yeah, there's a sheriff, but like, what are you gonna do? Ring a bell? That's really the only option.
Ring a bell.
Which
no, and it doesn't seem like it's like that quick of a. I don't know. The book makes it kind of like vague on how far she really has to travel to get back into town. It seems like there's a distance, but I don't really know how long it really takes. So, but long enough, I guess.
Well, they talked about how, like the sun was coming up as her and Edward were walking to the church in the beginning. So you have to imagine that it has to be at least like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty long walk to listen to 3 hours sermon.
Like let's just say it's like 3-mile walk. Like if they go at a 3-mile pace through a forest, yeah, that's pretty far. That's pretty fucking far. So so at this point, she's heading towards seas. She hears and feels father, as she's heading toward the village. But does what she can to just get away, and keeps herself from like looking all fucked up and haggard, because they obviously the Puritans don't like that.
Yeah, you're sweating, your hair is coming out, you're looking like a ragged mess.
Which is so bullshit.
Well, good, I just walked 3 fucking miles. Maybe I'm gonna look a little bit raggedy.
Or I was toiling away, farming, with the crops and
as
stuff.
As a widow with no help, I'm there by myself. And
to be fair,
just want to do anything about it.
To be fair, the Reverend does give her a lot of latitude, and we learn a little bit about that, like down the line. So anyway, father is found along the riverbank. He can't really remember how he got there or how long it's been. He was just following those dead spirit animals that he was just drawn to. And he's joined by this disintegrating boar. And he's like, well, you're, man, you say you're ready, but you're not ready yet to come with us, kind of thing. The boar says to father. He then sees Abitha come into view, and he's like, fucking bitch, I'll kill you. So he goes chases after her because of the what she did to him with the ash and stuff. But as soon as she kind of enters town, the women start scolding Abitha. She's able to get away from father, but she's being now haunted by these fucking bitches that are like being like, you're so unkempt and unclean, like
They're like, mind your house. They're like, mind your houses.
and they're all about Wallace. Like, how could you not accept his offer? Like, he's so he's so
Well, because
generous.
I don't know. He basically said, "My options are marry my son or be a slave to my household."
Yeah.
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 So very, very compelling choices. Like 10 out of 10. I'm surprised you
Also,
didn't take one
I
either.
lose all of my independence in the meantime.
Either way.
I lose all of my independence. I have to marry your shitty son after I was just married to your brother, who painted pretty pictures of my tits.
Mm. Well, okay, but that was okay. It wasn't consensual. The painting at first, because I think he had drawn some lewd stuff right
But
prior.
it was jacked the fuck up.
But then she was into it. After she saw those lewd photos, and she
Well,
was like,
it was more about the fact that his passion for it and his skill
Well, it showed
improved.
that he actually had an interest in her.
Mhm.
It showed that he wanted to take interest in his wife, and she was saying that she was struggling with the fact that their relationship seems more. I think she said like uncle and niece or like something like that. Where it felt very familial. It didn't feel like
not
a
really
romantic relationship.
husband and wife. Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
So basically, she tells them to fuck off. I think this is the point where she calls them cunts. I don't remember, but I think so.
Probably.
I remember. Yeah,
I might have notated it.
Yeah. So
I think that was the point after she came through the woods, doing that treacherous walk, and was being chased by your boy.
Yeah.
I noted all of the insults because they were great.
Yeah. Some of the insults were great in this book.
Top notch shit.
Son of a whore.
Yes,
I say that all the time.
Son of a whore. So after that, she knows she fucked up. She knows this is gonna get back to the Reverend, and she knows she's gonna have to make some sort of like penitence or whatever. So at this point, she meets up with Helen at the church. Helen thanks her for the charm. It's been working on Isaac. He's professed his love. After church, Abitha is told by Wallace that Reverend Carter won't be the end to this story. Like, he's basically threatening her, being like, I got something coming for you.
I got something for you, ass.
Yeah, exactly.
The quote specifically about the cunts was, "You were all naught but a gaggle of clucking cunts," which is a great.
Yes, that is valid.
How do you not clap for that? That's beautiful. So she's confronted by the Reverend's wife, Sarah Carter, which I don't know. Every time I thought about Sarah Connor, for some reason.
You expect the Terminator to come through?
Yeah. Well, she really needed it at the end there. So Sarah has to deal with the women of the town and their concerns and their squabbles. Sarah was told that Abitha has been lashing out. But Sarah takes Abitha quietly, alone to the side where all the other gaggle of cunts can't see. And that's when Sarah kind of opens up and is like, listen, I'm not really against all your witchcrafty shit. It's kind of cool for me. But, you can't. Yeah. And, her struggle is very noble. A woman on her own trying to make it. Shit, man. It's hard for you women.
1600 in the 1600s.
Whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Whole different ball game.
She basically tells her that she would be sold off if she fails, and that Wallace would basically make her a slave. So yeah. But at this point,
it's kind of reminiscent about how she was sent off by her father.
Yeah.
For a few shillings.
Oh yeah.
To be married off to someone in the colonies.
Yeah.
And her dad was shit.
Yeah, and at this point also Sarah notes that she was kind of a troublemaker in her life back in England too. So she kind of relates to her. She kind of sees her, but now she's kind of like, well, she's the Reverend's wife, so she's more kempt, like so. So anyway, at this point, we meet Ansel Fitch again. He's that town stalker, eavesdropper, and he basically loves to point out everything is the devil. Whatever you're doing, it's the devil's work. You know, that kind of guy.
Devil tree. How dare you with his bug eyes and
You
shit.
know, in today's day and age, it would be considered schizophrenia. That's all I.
Yeah, I literally like. I think I wrote for him. Where's this guy's name right
But
here?
you know, like
He's a
you know,
schizo.
you know when like homeless people a lot of the time like they might have like mental health issues and sometimes
Yeah.
they'll be screaming about something religious. That's who
Yeah,
Ansel
yeah,
is.
and I have him here. Literally, homeless, paranoid, schizophrenic who smells of piss and is fighting evil. Is fighting the evil of Sutton. He's always watching with bug eyes. Maybe he's right all along. The crazies are always right, right?
You're wrong with it even in your notes.
So basically, Sarah just warns her, watch your back, and she gives her some fish to take home. Basically, just
She's like, yo, these streets are hard, bro. Give you a Glock. Watch your back.
Was
Yeah,
like,
well,
here's
she doesn't give her a Glock. She gives her some salted fish.
What is this gonna do, bitch? I got a musket.
well, she was like, here's some protein because I know you're about to have to like farm this land for the next like 3 months.
Yeah, you're pretty fucked. So back to Father. Again, he's lost by thought. He's at the riverbank again. He notices Abitha, again, and she eluded him. He now happens upon another person named Lewis. And this Lewis is trying to kill a few wolves out in the forest, and Father gets pissed off. He's like, he comes at Lewis, rips his throat out, he's all bleeding and eating him and stuff. And any musket shot that hit Father basically gets healed almost immediately
Very
due to the
Wolverine.
blood. Yeah,
Or-
yeah, very
How
Wolverine
you
like.
depending on how you want to feel it.
Yeah. So and the wolves that Lewis was hunting, Father decides to feed them because it feels right to him, which is foreshadowing, a little bit. He's not really a demon, kind of thing. But a young man spots Father, and basically, Father's like, "Oh shit, baby, let's go," and he hunts the little
You
kid
know what?
down.
For the hunt, boys, like, oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Yeah.
I love you, young lamb.
Yeah, so he notices the lights of the town and he's just ready for more carnage. He kills the little boy and stuff, and he's got a hard on for this now. Wallace meets up with the Lord Magistrate. They chat about Abitha, and it has a rain for the crops, and she probably won't make it till October, so nothing to worry about, guys. We're all-
Already bet against her demise. Like, this
Yeah.
don't make it.
Yeah, they're already betting. So Father goes hunting with the wolves, but he's not satisfied by killing deer or, so he heads into town and he spots another like young boy picking berries with his mother. The boy offers him a handful, and this kind of like brings back memories of him being worshipped by people, and that kind of like gives
And
him
offerings and all that stuff. So
that kind of gives him the tingles. He feels good about that.
So in this, I was actually thinking about there's pagan gods. So there's a couple mixed in here, I think. But
mhm.
one Celtic one is Cernunnos, who's considered like a horned god, and he's a forest god. And like he's horned. He some people called him like it when paganism has like transferred into Wicca a lot recently. He was considered like the god of the hunt. Now that's not entirely based in like all lore, but when he was talking about like how he was seeing all these other animals and how he didn't really feel comfortable killing the deer, like he felt more comfortable really killing humans, but it wasn't really about killing humans. It was
yeah.
about
And,
power.
yeah, and he also felt he was like taking care of the wolves too. That was another part of it.
So, and that's really what Cernunnos is known for, like in Celtic lore, is that he's the god of the wild. So he takes care of the animals. He guides souls into the afterlife, depending on which pagan belief you are, the Veil, which I think was interesting because when they were talking about interaction between between both worlds,
Mhm.
they were talking about dead animals.
Yep.
He was talking to
Creatures of the
dead
past,
animals.
including prehistoric. So this
So it
obviously is
seemed
deeply
like
rooted.
there was he was interacting within the veil and the present, 1600s present.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I thought that was an interesting mixture.
Yeah, and yeah, there's a lot of kind of like that folklore from I think Celtic specifically.
Yeah,
That's why every time I imagine the braid, I imagined it as a Celtic cross for some reason.
Yeah.
But also like what happens to Abitha, I believe that's a Celtic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, I mean, you could look at the cover. She's got like fucking what is it? Goat legs.
Goat legs,
Yeah, and horns. So
Trotting it through. That's what it is.
And the
Trotting
other
it
thing was
through.
like the wild folk. So it's also very common in Celtic lore.
yeah. So a lot of that happening here. So basically at this point, yeah. So father sees the boy and the mom. He asks the mom, who do you think I am? And she's like, well, you're the devil, of course. Because you look like the fucking devil with the horns and yeah, freaky hooves and stuff.
Like,
so-
I am not. What do you mean?
What is the devil?
What is
Yeah.
this? What is Satan?
Yeah, he doesn't know. It's a very weird.
No, that's the old lady in the field, right?
Yeah.
Picking him, like literally grabbed her, like, what do you mean?
What
She
do you
died of a heart attack.
Yeah, pops. Oh. I mean, wouldn't you though? I mean, getting assaulted like that, sure. So he then is like drawn back to Abitha and their strange connection. He's like, well, if this bitch didn't have the answers, maybe this bitch will. I don't know. So Abitha is, working herself to death. She's really not getting anywhere with the corn crop. She tried, like you were saying earlier, about the fetching of the water and pouring it. But anyway, she's hearing like little giggles coming from the well. And they're kind of telling her, hey, why don't you kill yourself? Just throw yourself down here.
Yeah, because she's thinking about it in her own mind, and they're like, yes, do it.
Yeah, so
Good.
so it's the wild folk, and they're kind of like taunting her, because they're kind of pissed off that father wasn't able to like axe her, at the barn. So one of her buckets and the rope falls into the bottom of the well, and she's just like,
That's because that one of the bastards cut that shit right open.
yeah, she feels pretty hopeless. But she's like, no, fuck this. I ain't dying for you. I'm too stubborn for that. But she's pretty exhausted and kind of like just knocks the fuck out. When she wakes up, there's two buckets, and one bucket is just filled to the brim with berries. Berries that a little boy and his mother might have been picking. Also, I really thought that the bucket would come into play later, because
Kind of does.
not really.
It's mentioned because they said, oh,
Well, yeah, later on
whatever
whatever killed
ladies-
whatever killed the old lady, the
Yeah.
bucket of berries is gone.
No. Exactly. But they don't mention Abitha having it.
Oh yeah,
Right, that's
Yeah.
true. And I thought that they would in the whole witch trial thing. Like, clearly you were with the devil as well because you're
You
the one
literally- Berries.
Literally, that would have been the best evidence against
Yeah.
Abitha. If they really needed it. Obviously, this is like a Salem witch trial. There is no real evidence, and they could just like make anybody a witch and kill them for
There
whatever.
was no real trial. They were just like, oh, all
Well,
of
we're going too far ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just keep going. So she's like, there's berries. she thinks that it's a dream, but it turns out the father has left it for her. He's hanging around trying to talk to her. He's telling her, I can't remember. I need to remember. He knows the feeling of being celebrated. He feels powerful. He doesn't want to really kill anymore. He doesn't feel like killing is the right thing to do. But he's a fucking goat man that killed her husband. She has a hard time believing the guy. So he gets upset, leaves.
Not only killed her, but sucked him dry.
Yeah,
For his blood.
not a good look. Not a
Yeah,
good
not a
look,
good
I gotta
look.
say.
Tiffany, not a good look, right?
Yeah, not a good look at all.
So she remembers back to her mother and the stories of the fairy folk and how they needed offerings. So she decides to kind of prepare him one, makes him a little crown of leaves, I guess, or whatever. But
Did she have her hair in that and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. hmm
so off in the distance she spots Edward again, and he kind of looks like, he's accusatory, but so she's conflicted, like we kind of mentioned in our like non-spoiler section, where it's like this conflict of her like religion, non-religion, what is she doing, what she wants to do. So father so yeah, so she makes him some sweets, a crown of flowers, and this kind of empowers him, and grabs her, and takes her back to her like dead crops, and he's like, listen, um we can do this together. If you really ask for it, if you really want it, you can bring out the magic of the earth and kind of reinvigorate the crops and stuff. So she feels like this magic connection, and they kind of like link again, and this magic courses through him, through her,
Holding
through
on
her
her hand
hands.
on the earth and all that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then all this corn starts like popping out of the ground, and they're just like they just had sex.
That,
Like basically, like in a
that or it's
way.
like editor mode for like Minecraft or something like that.
Minecraft. Sure, they had sex in Minecraft. Whatever.
That's a different rabbit hole. We shall not go down that one. That is a disturbing hole to go down.
So well, I don't want to go down that mine shaft. In Minecraft. So father's like faces off with Forrest, because Forrest obviously is not happy with the turn of events here. Back at the cave, he's great. He's happy with Abitha. He's happy with the corn, and he doesn't want to really give in to whatever Forrest is selling.
Well, it's because it feels like he's starting to find his purpose. He's starting to
Mhm.
find out piece by piece, like, this is what I'm meant to do. Let's continue to do this. Here, help me, help you. Well, I'm starting to figure out like all this meaning.
Yeah, and at this point, this is when they head out towards Abitha's barn again, and the wild folk as well. Abitha tries to kind of appease the wild folk. She's able to see them and stuff, and Creek is into it, the fish boy, but obviously Forrest is like shutting that shit down. He does not want any of this. He
Yeah,
taunts Abitha.
Creek and Sky were like, yeah, bro, I'll
Yeah,
feast on the milk. I'll feast on the milk.
yeah, they were a little like, yeah, they were kind of like down to kind of chill with Abitha. They were a little more on the chill side, but for some reason Forrest is like, the most hateful of them all. And we
Mhm.
didn't really get a story as to why Forrest specifically is so hate filled. Like why are the other two not as hate filled as Forrest? I guess is not something we ever got. Like they're
Yeah.
able to kind of live with Abitha and be fine with Abitha, but Forrest can't. You know, I don't know. It wasn't really like we know what happened to make him feel that way, but it's not really why are the other two not into it? Yeah.
It also seems like Forrest is almost like more sentient than the other two.
Yes. He's
Mhm.
able to
Like,
talk more. He talks the entire time. The other two don't talk at all.
which I think we don't really get as to why Forrest has more like I guess human
Consciousness.
attributes.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, we never really get
isn't he
that.
hoofed as well?
He's a possum.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
he's
was
a
a possum.
possum.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was a possum.
So basically, he taunts Abitha, and he admits to luring the goat down, and also Edward into the cave. But Father did eat the goat, and he did eat Edward. I mean, he kind of can't get past that point.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Abitha is like, I kind of understand.
Like,
I kind of
I
feel what she's.
It's my husband, but I understand.
Well, the other thing is that like it didn't really seem like Abitha loved Edward. It was more like
Yeah.
cared about him.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't really like a romantic, like I'm in love with Edward. It was more of a
I cared
we're
about
in
him.
this
Well,
together,
and
I
like
care about him.
and like they've literally had a magical connection that they're sharing each other's thoughts, to the point
Yeah.
that they're sharing each other's thoughts. I don't know. I mean, so she could probably gain a way more insight into what Father was feeling and thinking, and kind of, she understands more in that aspect, rather than, yeah, I understand he killed, but it is what
Why are
it
you
is.
giggling to yourself? He's been giggling the whole time.
So it's about Edward in the spirit form. every
Oh.
time that he is
no.
observed.
Okay.
For some reason, every single time I read that in the book, and like he is observed being very like scary or stoic or like just
Yeah.
supposed to be unnerving.
Yeah.
I just see him doing the default Fortnite dance right there.
Oh my god.
Your
I
brain
feel-
is
wow.
just thieves.
That's not every single time it's brought up. I have to compose myself because it's
He's
just
giggling.
so
I
funny.
mean, sure. I mean, hey,
Very serious moment. My man is just dancing in the middle of the field.
sure.
He's getting sturdy on everybody.
You know what? I never would have linked the two together, but I'm glad you did.
I'm glad I did too. It brings me nothing but joy.
So okay, so at this point, you know, father's like hurt, confused, kind of, you know, he's just like and father is like linked with the Abitha, and he can kind of feel her pain about what happened as well. And you know, Abitha takes her anger out on Forrest, but Forrest obviously is able to just evade all that shit. He's a wily little weasel. He's a stinky little weasel. He can weasel himself out of there. And yeah, he truly hates her. He will do whatever it takes to kill her, is what he makes clear. So father and Abitha talk. He kind of convinces her that he isn't really the devil, or he isn't a devil, and she believes him. You know, they kind of form a pact, and at this point on, he is no longer father or Slewfoot. He is Samson, the goat man.
The goats, the one you just killed.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, that was the name of Abitha's goat, Abitha and Edward's goat. And he accepts it. He feels like it's right for Abitha to name him. And you know, now with Samson's help, Abitha is able to grow this massive crop. And you know, the wild folk have also kind of been hanging around the area, but they they don't really want to interact with Abitha, especially because of Forrest. So they kind of discuss a little bit about, you know, God. What is God to Abitha? And kind of like, oh, what can he do? Can he cure the sick? No. Can he make your dreams come true? No.
Oh.
Can he grow crops? Maybe, I guess, if we, you know, work really hard on the soil and, you know, feed it all this manure and like, you know, hopefully maybe it'll rain one day.
He'll grant us his blessings from above.
Yeah, maybe. A big fucking maybe to that. So
You'll be like, did you pay your taxes? No, I ain't giving you crops, bitch.
No,
Pay your
yeah.
tax
um
for 10% of the shillings you have.
the shillings. Well, yeah, their currency is really weird in this. It's like shells.
Yeah.
It's little shells.
A wampum or whatever.
Yeah. I've never heard of those before. I didn't know they use that as current, and this is where the American school system fails us.
Wampum. Also, that sounds like it would be from native people, right? Like wampum.
Yeah,
it could be, or it could be a saying right before you punch somebody in the face.
It reminds me of the apples in
Oh, yeah,
Crash
it
Bandicoot.
It's a Native American beat. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Oh, well, how about that, guys?
A string of wampum was considered like money at the time.
Now you should type in a WOMPA, Wampa, fruit, and then Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. See, you had the Fortnite dance. I had Crash Bandicoot on the mind.
See, we're all a little bit on the spectrum.
A little bit. We all are. So yeah, so they talk a little bit about God. You know, but obviously her answers suck. Now Forrest also makes mention that there's like less gods around now, and that, you know, if father continues down this road, there's gonna be one less, you know, god, meaning father. So Abitha makes her way back into are you okay? Are we
Mini
good?
Skittles.
Are the Skittles choking you out? Shit, man, be careful.
It was actually a spider.
Oh, okay.
I was imagining the theme of the
So Abitha makes her way back into town. She hasn't been there in the past 3 months because she's been like toiling away. She runs into Helen, and who, you know, the other women have been kind of talking about how the devil's been about, and so, you know, she tells her Abitha about the Lewis incident, about him getting gutted, and about the woman in the sun with the berries, and the son did survive, but the bucket had gone missing. Yeah, and the bucket is Samson's, that was Samson's gift to Abitha. She's not happy about the news, so she makes her way back to church. She stopped by some of the gossips, and they insinuate that Abitha has been, conspiring with the devil since taking over the farm, and it's just, it's brought bad luck to the village. So she breaks free of the gaggle of cunts. Um, which is what I refer to the village now, honestly, because they're all a gaggle of cunts, aside
We
from
also
like
we also
Helen.
missed the thing where what was his name, Samson,
Yeah, Samson.
that he befriended the wolves of the forest
No,
as well.
we talked about that.
Yeah,
Did?
yeah.
You just weren't paying attention. Good job.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. He was reading the book. It's fine.
Well, I was
uh,
finishing the book.
so she goes listens to the Reverend talks about his Puritan devil shit that don't make deals with devils. So Forrest and the other two stay at the house, and Forrest tries to like conjure some of that magic power, but he's kind of he doesn't have any. Not really, not enough. But he's able to sense where all the like the vipers and the spiders and the centipedes are in the house.
The nasties.
Yeah, he wants to sick them on Abitha. Um but he can barely do that. So he needs that pawpaw tree to like regrow and get that magic fruit from it to really get back. So he thinks of an alternate plan. Back at the church, the sermon kind of is like whatever. She does notice the Reverend is looking a little pale. He's not looking very like himself, and she hasn't seen Sarah around. So after service, she chats a little bit, and she also gives a present to give to Sarah. She gives the Reverend a present to give to Sarah. He's surprised on how well Abitha is doing. Like, shouldn't you be dying? Like, you're a woman in the 1600s. What are you doing? Um,
She's
and
defying it all. She's working hard and she is making deals with spiritual creatures.
yeah. Having lurid times. So she asks, about his daughter Martha, and finds that Martha's been like stricken with the measles. That's why Sarah isn't around, and that's why he looks like shit. So she notes that, and she goes home trying to think of a treatment that her mother would have made for the measles. So Forrest at this point is still looking for critters to sick on Abitha, but he hears Wallace pull up to the farm, and he wants father. Oh, this is perfect. You can kill Wallace now. Um, Wallace is like, what the fuck? Why is there corn here? There's supposed to be nothing. It's supposed to be like just a heaping
It was-
pile of shit
Yeah,
here.
jaw to the ground, like what the fuck is going on here? This
Yeah.
place is barren.
Yeah, he had hoped it would have been all dead, and he's like, all right, maybe if I squish the stalks with the horse or something. But then he sees Edward in the field doing the Fortnite dance or whatever.
He was getting sturdy on him.
Was he
getting
doing
the
this? Was he doing the Fortnite? I don't
That
know.
was it was the default one, the one with the clap.
Oh, the clap.
At the very
Yeah.
beginning.
Okay. All right. Great.
Because they point at that near the end of the fucking dance. So
Okay. Okay.
Makes
I
sense.
feel you. I'm with you. Like I said, hey man. Um, he then hears also the laughter of children, and he pulls himself away, thinking about burning the field, or worse, to Abitha, to kind of get retribution, because he obviously wants the land back for himself. And he keeps telling himself, like, oh, I'm doing the right thing. This is for my father. This is for Edward. Fuck Abitha, kind of thing.
very, very pride driven type of kind of individual.
Yeah, he heads away from the farm, and Edward, and he feels like he's being watched. He nearly tramples over Abitha as he's like running out of there. So she makes it home. She's now able to see where Forrest is, so she's kind of more in tune with the magic, because the wild folk can actually make themselves just be invisible to whoever they choose, but it's not working on her anymore. So she obviously tells Forrest, hey, get the fuck out of here. Then Samson arrives, and he kind of asks him about the story she hears from the village, but he ignores them and talks more about Wallace wishing her harm. You know, like Samson is very focused on, hey, listen, you know, maybe you want me to kill Wallace because he is a dickhead. So she she's like, no, 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 I got to prepare a treatment for the Reverend's daughter. That's more important. So she finds this root of nipbone in a pot and begins preparing it, and she's kind of using the braid to guide the memories of her mother, to kind of remember what she needs to do. Samson's like, well, why don't you just ask God, your Christ God, to heal the girl? And again, it's like, well, you have to be a worthy person and all this like boring shit. You know, that doesn't work. Um,
And he's like, yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty shitty.
And then Samson is pretty much like, your god kind of sucks. I'd be a better god than you. Like,
yeah, pretty much, and he's not wrong. So he's like, let's try this together. He kind of opened himself up, and they try conjuring some magic together to help. You know, the what is it called? The no, where am I?
You're talking about the paste, basically the
Yeah. The paste for the
doing
measles.
the whole
yeah,
ghost.
so she makes the ointment and then she goes into town and she finds.
But yeah, but the ointment is made in a similar fashion as it was with the crops.
Yeah.
They did the whole ghost thing with the whole damn
well,
pot.
she has to offer him something, and
And
then
you have to
he's
say the
able
offering,
to
yeah.
like.
Yeah. But
And then she starts humming and singing and like.
but yeah, at first, right, at first they start kind of like a prayer. She tries a prayer at first, but then it turns more into a chant, and then yeah, all she starts seeing like the 12 women, which were kind of like of her family, kind of appear and chant along with her, and this like power envelops them, and now she can actually go see the little girl. So she heads off to town, but she's being stalked by the magic folk that are like feeling the ointment, and it's not like the wild folk, it's like just other magical spirits in the area. They're kind of craving the power that she just imbued in this like little bottle, I guess, of ointment. So
Longer.
yeah, so she's like as closer she gets to the town, she's kind of feeling this like greater spirit kind of slither its way through the earth toward her, and all those other like magical spirits kind of like get the fuck away from that. And the serpent, it's like the same serpent that was in her dream with the apple. So yeah, she's just like, she makes it to town, she makes it to the reverend's house. The spirit kind of fades away as soon as they get close to the town. I guess it doesn't want itself to be known there. And so she kind of like, you know, just steadies herself to like talk to them and kind of hopefully get them on their side, on her side, to give the ointment. So Sarah's,
and she knows is a risk too. Like she's aware
yeah,
that what she's doing is risky because she's going to the reverend, and the reverend in this situation is more like a mayor. He's
yeah,
the one who controls the town.
yeah, which is a weird dynamic. I didn't even think about, like, oh, there is no mayor in this town. It's really just the reverend.
It's the religious heads.
Yeah, it's the reverend, it's the other reverends, and then there's a sheriff, and that's pretty much it when it comes to like, I guess, politics. And then obviously like the magistrate that's in Hartford, but he's kind of like he's more of like a figurehead that'll come in and be a fucking asshole.
Yeah, rain shit on you if things aren't straightened out right. He's gonna come down here and
yeah, but he wasn't supposed to have any real power. He was supposed to just be a figurehead, and the reverend was supposed to be the one that was actually like controlling the town. It was his town to control.
Yeah. So it does, yeah, it's kind of weird for Abitha to just show up like that and then start spraying ointment on people, but hey, you know, whatever. So, you know, Sarah's kind of like concerned for her daughter, so she lets Abitha in. And you know, the reverend's kind of like, what the hell are you doing here? But he also is like really worried for his daughter's like health. So he kind of like is, all right, I guess you can do this thing. So
I'm gonna stay down here. Call me if you need me.
yeah, so
the thing is, the family is desperate. The family is desperate because the daughter's knocking on death's door, and he's like, if it can work, it can work, but just I don't want to see it, pretty much.
Yeah, so Abitha starts kind of like dabbing the ointment on Martha. Martha's obviously in a bad state, and she starts doing a little chant, and you know, she kind of hides it with using a prayer, kind of to also let Sarah know, hey, I'm not doing any witchcraft shit here. I'm praying over your daughter. And Sarah's like, all right, that's fine. And they kind of pray together. But as soon as Abitha actually starts working some of that witchcraft shit into it,
The real
Martha,
shit.
yeah,
The real
the
shit.
real good shit. Martha starts like feeling it work through her. They kind of lock eyes and share minds. And then Martha kind of falls back asleep. And Sarah, kind of talks about how she had a rough life, and her mother would send her to her grandmother's as they're kind of waiting for Martha to wake back up. And her grandmother, or Sarah's grandmother, she would also play with charms, so she feels for Sarah. She knows that she's coming from a good place, and she's more of a healer, not really like voodoo dolls and shit.
Yeah,
So
that's a whole different type of thing. That's
Yeah.
but no, yeah, it was more of a positive healer, very kind-hearted, kind-spirited, just wanted to help.
Yeah.
Right, Tiffany?
Hmm.
You still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
no, yeah, so what happens next is like they're worried that because the people in town are crazy, they'll go crazy over anything, and they don't want this to like blow up. But after a little bit, Martha awakens, and she's all healed, like completely healed. The measles are gone.
Very,
Um,
very bitch. I'm back out my coma.
yeah. She mentions to Abitha without really mentioning it to Sarah, like while Sarah's kind of like busy doing something else, that she had a dream that she was an angel, but she had horns. How could you be an angel with horns? Kind of confused about it. So that's when Abitha's like, I gotta fucking get out of here. This is not
She's like,
gonna
"I'm
work
gonna
out."
go now,
Yeah.
boys. Cover's blown. I
She's-
did my job. Let's get out of here."
She's like, oh, you just had a dream, honey. It's okay.
It
Ugh.
was a fever. It was a fever dream. Don't worry, it's okay. You didn't see no horns.
As she's leaving, she meets Ansel outside. Not a good look to the town stalker. Yeah, he's basically was hiding in the bushes, which is
Fucking
also very
creepy.
weird. Yeah,
He was
creepy as fuck.
creeping.
Why wasn't Ansel in the stocks? That's my question. Like, he had to kneel. That's about it. But like, this man
It's
never ends
because
up
he
in the
had
goddamn stocks.
godly or holy intentions. It was always I was out here seeking the devil.
But
Although
let's be a little bit honest.
that's like such a bullshit excuse, because the guy in the stocks, I think, got in the stocks because he was late to church.
Mm-hmm.
So what the fuck with Ansel?
No, it was because he skipped church. He skipped like
Completely skipped
like
it.
Yeah, because he fell asleep.
Yeah.
He just fell asleep at home. He was like, nah, man, I ain't doing it. And it was like, nah, man, 10 lashes. Let's go.
pretty
10
much.
lashes with some menorah in your lashes.
So at this point, she's like, fuck off, Ansel, and she makes her way back home. Wallace is off in Hartford, and he's trying to sell some mead.
You skipped a good part.
What part?
Ansel was like, I'm always watching, Mike Wazowski. Always watching.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, we are aware that Ansel is always watching.
Aware that Ansel is watching. Is that in your notes?
I mean, he literally jumped out of the bushes while she was coming out of the Reverend's house in the middle of the night. Yeah, he's always watching for sure.
Yeah, he was listening to the fucking Sam Smith's Unholy. That's what it was.
So Wallace is back in Hartford. He's trying to sell some mead, not weed, mead.
So I don't know, bro.
That's when he comes across the Picot. Is that how we say it?
Pronounced.
Pick what?
Pequot.
I mean, I don't know. We're all pretty fucked at butchering it.
We're also pretty white, so.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's when he meets up with one of the tribe members called
Pequot?
Jesus.
Pequot.
Jesus Thunderbird.
Jesus Thunderbird.
What'd you guys think of that name?
That's
I mean,
a badass name.
It makes
It's cool,
sense.
right?
It's basically like I want to be powerful. That's really what it is. He was like, I want to be powerful, and you guys all believe that this Jesus guy is so powerful. So here we are.
Here we are. Why not? I am now as powerful as Jesus Christ himself. And basically Wallace is like, listen, man, I need a couple of you Pequot guys to come with me to this barn. See, this woman owes me a ton of fucking corn. So if we take it, it'll be my corn. I really, his convincing wasn't very good, but at the same time, the Peacock guy was like, yeah, I kind of need it, so I might as well do it, even though my wife might not be too happy with it, but
But
she'll be
yeah,
happy if I have the corn. You know what I mean?
yeah, 'cause
So
I remember correctly. Thunderfoot, no Thunderbird said was like, yeah, my wife's not upset, is upset at me because of all my prior dealings. I need to, make things right, or else she's gonna throw me out in the winter, and I ain't trying to be bumming out here in the snow. So let me get these two very slow buddies of mine, and we'll we'll go.
yeah. They're brothers. They're brothers. And so yeah, they get a little troop together. But at this point, Abitha's now back at the barn. She notices that Samson isn't around, and she's takes some treats and looks for him by the beehives. Beehives are pretty important actually in this story, which was surprising. I didn't even think about that. But Edward was a beekeeper, and he was pretty good at it. And the beehives seem to really love Samson, and they kind of soothe him with their humming dulcet tones.
It makes me wonder, Edward or Samson, either one, did they like jazz?
Well, jazz wasn't invented in 1666, bro.
It's from the Bee movie.
It's from the
Oh.
Come on.
Everything is a meme.
Well, okay. First of all, I have not seen the Bee movie, just period.
Missing out.
But aside from that, okay.
Oh no, not Jerry Seinfeld.
So she finds him. She finds him thinking about his like past and future. She tries to cheer him up with some jokes and a sassy sexual song.
Closet.
And Wallace admits, well, where am I? Sassy sexual song. Samson doesn't really care for the song, but he really enjoys her singing. Like it really like brings him kind of yeah.
It was like stories that were kind of a song, and then she actually decided to sing. And it was like, I don't know what any of this shit means, but I love your voice.
Yeah, and at this point, it's kind of being made clear that Samson and her are really like good friends. Like they're just now at this point friends. So at night, Jesus meets up with Wallace. They bring along those two, slow dudes. And they're Wallace and his son are there, and they're dressed up as the Pequot, whatever it was, as the natives because they kind of want to blend in. They don't want to be caught by Abitha as like.
I'm very recognizable. I need to look like a native, so then the pinning of the blame is a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly. So he admits to Jesus that he's not really there for the corn. He doesn't really care about the corn, but it's more like to fuck over Abitha. But Jesus is like, well, this isn't really what I wanted to do, but I really need that corn. So he decides to help. They go into the barn. They start loading up the carts. Wallace is like just freaked out. There's way too much corn here. How is this possible? He tries to load the car.
So much of corn in every single stall. There was just like loads of corn.
Yeah, he tries to load up the cart and it busts open and just like spills corn all over the place. And now they have no cart and they can't really get out of there. So the two brothers are like, and Jesus are like, fuck this shit. We're out of here. As soon as they're trying to make their getaway, Wallace also is like, fuck this. I'm just burning the corn. Abitha kind of points the musket at them and is like, trying to like, hey, stick them up, stay where you are.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, but
for the natives, like you best be on your way now. I got business settled here.
Yeah, because Wallace is like burning down her fucking barn, so she then goes after Wallace instead. As the two natives are running off, they run into Samson. They call him Hobomok, and he's like, "What the fuck is that?"
It struck him. It struck him really hard.
It struck him, yeah.
And then he grabbed one of them by the throat and
kills him, throws him like a rag doll.
What does that mean? And the native is like, harder, daddy. And then he breaks his fucking neck.
Yeah. It kills him. So after that, Abitha is just watching. She wakes up outside and she's just watching the barn burn away. Samson looks around and he's just hanging with her. He didn't kill Wallace, but he was thinking about, but he'd be willing to for Abitha to kill him. Forrest
I
obviously.
always asking like, is it a good time now? Basically.
Yeah.
No?
Get out of here, man. I have a cat just constantly just getting up my ass right here. So it's kind of fun. She also has a cat, but I didn't really write it in any of the notes, but he's kind of important. It's kind of funny how it
Yeah,
turned out to be. Yeah.
Buka.
So yeah, Buka. So Forrest loves the idea to like set Samson to work, but Abitha's like fighting the urge, and Samson starts talking about what the Hobomuk is, and Forrest answered that it's like another word for devil in the Pequot tribe. So that's what they kind of named him, I guess.
But every single time he comes towards like revelations of stuff in his past, Forrest gets
like,
nervous.
No.
Well, no, let's chill out, bro. You don't need to remember. We just need you to do some work now. Let's hold off on that, all right?
Is that right? You just need to be killing people. Get
well,
out of here.
well, it's just it suits Forrest, right? To keep him stupid, so that he's just like a killing machine for Forrest. Again, it's just so messed up because of the ending of like in terms of like where it ends up with Samson. Like he in the end he's like kind of both, but it's just it's so corrupt. You know what I mean? And he's kind of just making that bad outcome happen again to himself by pushing him toward that.
But we're still getting a little bit ahead.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying.
The thing is that like what I didn't.
It's
really
like a build-up.
What I didn't really understand is like Forrest is pushing him to kill, right? And like basically he wanted him to drive out all of these humans so that the tree could come back. But all of his attempts for that to happen wasn't causing the tree to come back.
Yeah.
The tree was continuously
that's what I'm saying. Like he keeps pushing that aspect of Samson, but it's not in his best interest. Yeah.
I don't know.
Like had Samson remembered everything from the get, I mean, I guess he couldn't because of reasons which we'll get into. But if he had, or if Forrest was more willing to talk about it, they could have come up with a plan. There could have been, everybody could have been happy. There could have been a happier ending. What? Okay, we'll get to it. So Samson's Forrest basically is like, listen, if you go after this Hobomuk thing, you don't want to do it, man. It's not a good idea. It's not a good look.
No turning back.
But obviously Samson doesn't give a fuck about what Forrest wants, and he pushes onward, and then at this point Abitha kind of talks about just what I want if I run south, forget all about this, maybe get away from the harsh winters of Connecticut and just get away from all these Puritan fucks. So,
as everybody wants to go to Florida to die.
Yeah. She starts rattling off like all she has that she could sell to get herself down there, and she's like, talking about the currency, which is like shells, which again is really weird. I didn't even think about like that they use that as currency. Like I didn't know about that as being a thing. So Samson's like, well, why don't we just magic it away? Like, why don't we fix this with magic here? Why don't I just make more shells for you? And they try, but it doesn't work, which is odd. So instead of the shells, they're gonna use the bees and the beehives and the honey, because the honey is very valuable, and they could just sell the honey to buy the land, basically. So they kind of hum out a song, and they kind of intertwine together and make all this powerful magic happen, and they just picture a ton of fucking honey. And even Sky and Creek are like, this is awesome, let's just dance around and be with the bees and make all that honey and all that. And so the bees make the honey for Abitha.
They're just vibing.
Yeah,
they don't give a fuck about any plot. They're just like, I'm here to have a good time. I might not be here for a long time, but I'm here to have a good one.
Here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, it's just like what I was saying earlier. It's just weird how they're so different, even though they've all experienced kind of the like Forest, Sky, Creek. They've all experienced the same kind of like outcome of everything, and they've lived together for so long. But those two are like just so much more chill over Forest,
Yeah.
So Forrest is like, please, Sky Creek, you got to help me kill Abitha. This is the only way to save the pawpaw tree. This is what we need. We need the pawpaw tree, and we cannot let Mamafoot, who is like the shaman of the Pequot tribe, get to Samson or the pawpaw tree. If he finds out about the pawpaw tree, we're fucked. So they're like, okay, we'll kill Abitha, even though they were just vibing with her. They were just vibing with her. So Samson's with Abitha. He's just watching her collect some honeycomb, and he's just being haunted by the word hubamuk, and fighting off.
Well, mean.
Yeah, all of that. So Abitha notices Samson's like mood is like, and she feels like powerless to really help him. So she's trying to just distract herself by attracting a lone bee with her humming, and then Abitha kind of walks away to relieve herself. But as soon as she does, Edward's ghost kind of appears to her again, and he's kind of trying to warn her because Forrest is like waiting in the outhouse with all these like snakes and centipedes and spiders, and they all start biting at Abitha and paralyzing her, and she can't get away. She's stuck in this little tiny, I mean, you've been in a porta potty, it's not exactly the most spacious place.
Fun.
Yeah. So Samson comes to the rescue, kicks the shit out of Forrest, and he breaks Forrest's spell. And Samson tries to help Abitha, but he can't. He just doesn't have the power to do it.
But remember, Edward was also there in the shitter.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what-
yeah. Yeah, he was like warning her. Like he was trying to save her from the ambush. So she's like clutching at the braid of her mother's braid, and she's realizing that there's magic within her and within the braid, and like there's something there. And she grabs Samson's hand, and they kind of channel the magic, and she's able to bring the poison out, and she's just like sweating the poison out of her. um
You know, I'm realize
What?
I'm getting some My Little Pony vibes from this.
Oh my! Shut up!
Friendship is magic, bro.
Would you?
What?
Friendship is magic.
Magic is not really what was just said.
Oh my god. I mean, he's not wrong. I guess. I mean, there is a lot of magic in that show, right?
Oh yeah. Well, continue. I'm sorry.
It's magic.
So at this point, Forrest is trying to get away. Samson is squeezing the life out of him. Sky and Creek are trying to protect their best bud. And then he's like, "Fuck it," and lets Forrest go, but he banishes him. Don't ever come back. And Forrest is like, he was only trying to help the pawpaw tree. You're doomed without it. You need to give a tribute to the tree.
Yeah, and he's like, basically, by the time you realize it, it's gonna be too late.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, Abitha is like thinking about Edward and how he kind of like interfered. He was like there trying to warn her. Samson is convinced that Abitha has a connection to the Mother Earth, and he wants to ask the Mother Earth, like, who am I? Samson's like really like on this like kick. So Samson wants to fly through Abitha. What did I write?
Wants to fly.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's the whole broom thing that we're talking about. If we're going to that one,
Samson wants to fly, though Abitha thinks she can't. Okay, I see. I added an R in my head.
Like fly through. Like, wait, hold on.
Yeah. I was just like, what am I writing here? Okay, so anyway, so basically, yeah, he is. As a witch, I guess. Well, as a person, you have a broom, and I guess it just kind of lends to the witchy thing. And he's like, "Listen, this broom, you can make it fly. I know you can, and we can use it together to like, fly out into the wherever." So
I believe in you. You can fly.
yeah, so she's like, okay, yeah. So they kind of begin to dance, and once they're kind of like intermingled, and the magic is kind of flowing around them and with them, the broom is imbued with this like magical aura, and they get on the broom. Abitha takes the lead, and she kind of just envisions where she wants to go, and they just fly through the forest, and that they're trying to get that answer for Samson about who he is. So Abitha asks the Mother Earth to kind of show them their true selves, and Samson and Abitha plummet from the sky. Abitha's afraid, crashing into the trees, but they seem to just land.
That's when he grabbed control of the broom.
Yeah.
He
So
grabbed control of that.
so
Oh,
so
that was like that was. I thought there was gonna be like a hot and heavy moment between the two with that.
I mean,
that was,
they already had a few hot and heavy moments.
well, I thought that one was gonna be the one. Like, oh shit, it's getting real. They're close up.
You wanted the raunchy shit to happen. You wanted whatever Edward was drawing.
There are books for that with
she was about to have her first furry moment. That's what it was.
Yeah, Tiffany is really into romance fantasy, so I'm pretty sure there's something on her list.
The Duskwalker series. The Duskwalker series has a whole thing about this like demon that basically seduces a woman, and she becomes like his bride.
As Tiffany swallows, like, ooh. Ooh.
No, it's there's something for everybody when it comes to books. There's smut on like Krampus and stuff.
Oh,
hot, very hot.
Actually, Krampus kind of fits for December because it's the holidays.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. So this is at the point of the book where I'm like, this guy must have done some shrooms at some point. They're basically seeing 1,000 little eyeballs everywhere, and they realize that God is every one of us, and we're all God, we're all one thing, and it's just a very beautifully written out scene, I think, very enthralling, very it's just, it kind of sticks with you. I think this part of the book definitely is like one of those like big markers from this point on. So yeah, I definitely, just on this scene alone, I was like, yeah, read this fucking book. This is great. And that's kind of what I told you guys as soon as I had finished reading that part.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Samson doesn't really get the answer that he was looking for from that. She wakes up naked in a cornfield. After
She's always waking up. She's always waking up like, bro, man, these trips are getting too intense, man.
Yeah, so Buka is with her. She remembers bits and pieces, and then at this point Wallace is like on his way with the sheriff and the referendum to arrest Abitha, because at this point, she doesn't have a crop, so she can't possibly have the money to sell what's owed for the debt, right? So he intends to kind of make her an indentured servant, but Abitha kind of is like empowered by this experience that she's had. She's no longer like trying to keep her like hair trimmed down and stuff and all of that. She's just like full and free spirited. And
chilling by the wall when they knocked on the door, like, oh, you're looking for me?
Yeah. So Wallace is obviously pissed off at this. Abitha reveals that she's got a huge bag of money, and she also has more honeycomb in the back because the bees just couldn't stop.
Cereal.
Yeah.
Cereal.
Oh, honeycomb? Yeah, I like honeycomb too.
Good cereal. Like you rolled up with a boxes of honeycomb. Like, yo,
I actually learned that there is a cereal buffet in Orlando, Florida.
What?
Yeah. There's a cereal buffet. You could have as many different kinds of cereals, and they have even weird ones that nobody has anymore. I guess they
podcast field trip. Let's go.
I think it's in Connecticut. Well, it's around the Disney park and stuff. So I think there's actually like even a specifically made Disney cereal that they serve at this buffet. So
sounds like I'm just getting into a diabetic shock at that location.
as much cereal and milk as you want, baby.
Fuck.
Oh, and I think toppings too. I don't remember
he's
what the toppings
I'm lactose intolerant. I'm gonna take those lactose pills like a fucking G, bro.
I'm sure they have alternatives for the lactose intolerant people.
Yeah, I'm
So-
about to eat. I'm about to eat fucking Fruity Pebbles, and I'm about to shit out Cocoa Puffs. Like, let's chill out.
Ooh, ew. Yo, man, if your shit is coming out like Cocoa Puffs, I don't know, man.
I need
You gotta
fiber.
you gotta go to somebody.
I
So
gotta go to church apparently.
so at this point, you know, she has enough money to like to he's loving himself. Uh you know, the sheriff and the reverend are like, yo, you have the money. You basically are able to like handle the payment. And Wallace is not having it. He like tries to hit her, but the sheriff intervenes, and then he's like, you guys are now part of this like witch coven. You've been infected
You've
by
been
her
bewitched.
magic.
You
You've
were
been
bewitched.
bewitched. So you know, he tries to force Abitha to admit, but the sheriff and reverend are like, fuck off, man. And he tells them, you know, I'm gonna report this to the magistrate, and you know, you're fucked once they get here. Abitha meets up with Samson to tell him the good news, but he still kind of is trying to convince her to let him kill Wallace. You know, he's got that slayer in him.
Be
So
real, Samson was right the whole time.
I mean,
Wallace should have been slayed a long time ago.
he could have been. If I mean, honestly, like after that night at the barn, like that night at the barn was the perfect excuse, right? Why would if Wallace's body was found dead, why was he there? You know what I mean? Why is the barn being burnt? Would Abitha have burnt her own barn? What witch would burn? What, like who? Like that? You know what I'm saying? And then if they have found an Indian man, you know, which she did bury, by the way, up on top of a hill, to be like, hey, anybody coming here, you'll end up in the grave like this asshole.
If you come here, you'll end up there.
Yeah, it was the perfect time for her to settle the score.
It was basically don't tread on me.
And honestly, I thought she did because there was a part in the book where it was kind of ambiguous as to whether or not she actually hit him. She actually like shot him and killed him and stuff. But yeah, no, it didn't. He did. He was hurt though.
In the thigh.
Yeah. So he did have that, but you know, whatever. So let's see. So Wallace, Ansel, Isaac, they head back over to Abitha's house to try to get evidence of her witchcraft. So you know, they see Buka, you know, her cat, and they just say, oh well, you know, that's her familiar, obviously, you know, because that's how it is with cats. Also because she's making a wreath, they immediately say, "Oh, that's pagan shit. You can't have wreaths. That's like idol
How
stuff."
dare she decorate her own goddamn
She
fucking
thought
house.
it was a wreath, and they were like, "Is it a crown?" And then the cat Buka comes up and it starts just patting at the crown, like, "Oh my god, her familiar is helping her with the this is witchcraft." No.
So then basically they
And they were also bewitched like beforehand when she was working on the fences and her titties were basically almost out, and everybody was getting. The Wallace was like, I'm getting hard. Look to everybody else, and they're fucking. They got stiffies. And like,
suddenly it's witchcraft because they're attracted to her.
Yeah. That was funny.
Oh no, titties! I'm hard. This is witchcraft.
But basically, they end up confronting her, and she's like, "What the fuck, guys? Like, you're being ridiculous." And they go back and forth, and eventually she sicks the bees on him.
After the physical fight,
she
got
sicks
tossed
the bees.
around.
She sicks the bees on Wallace, and that's when they have the proof at that point to accuse her of witchcraft.
At that point, anybody like, dude, they were around beehives. Like her later on when she's trying to talk about it, it makes sense. Like you're around beehives. You're fucking around bees.
Yeah.
It was like you were pissing off the bees.
You were on my land first and foremost. We already have bad blood, so you were just there for no good reason other than nefarious intentions, and you decided to fuck with the bees. I don't know what to tell you, bro, but you're dumb.
And then
especially because it's like the debt was already paid, so it's like you
have
no claim to this anymore.
And the Reverend is basically trying to back up Abitha, saying like he really had no reason to be there. Like what? Why are we even supporting this? This shouldn't even be a conversation. It's clear that he has a vendetta against her. Why are we even talking about her being a witch? And they're like, you've been bewitched by her too.
Yeah.
And then the whole conversation comes up with the daughter, and how the daughter, you know, gets the ointment, and then they accuse his wife of being bewitched. And
we're jumping into the trials now, so like
yeah, for the most part,
we're kind of fast fast forwarding into the trials.
Yeah, the only other thing we just have to add before we get to the trial is that Samson actually does meet up with Mamufet, Mamufet or whatever, because he's looking for that identity. So he kind of left Abitha to kind of fend for herself at the time.
Yeah, like he's like, yo, listen, I got soul seeking to do. I'll be back when I'm ready to be back.
Self-care is important, okay?
Self-care was important. I need
we
a
can't
mental
shit on
break.
him.
I needed a mental break right now in the most pivotal moment of her life. Like, I'll be right back when I'm ready.
Even gods need self-care, okay?
And I mean, but this is the whole. Well, okay. Well, the reason why he needs it is because he's not really a whole person. You know, like literally not a whole person. And at the same time, he's just been like trapped. You know, he was kind of brought back like a zombie. You know, from the dead, and he's kind of got both feet. You know, one in the living, one in the dead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he was from literally.
So there is good reasons. There are good reasons for him to be like really like just homed in on
and
this.
he's also being led in both realms, kind of. He's being told by Forrest that he's a slayer and he needs to kill everyone. But then as he's learning about himself through Abitha, he's realizing that he's not just a slayer. He can create life realistically, which is the whole corn and helping with the bees. Like he was creating life. So clearly he wasn't just a slayer. So now he wants to figure out why. So he ends up hearing about Mamufet. I don't even know how that was actually pronounced.
Mamunafet.
I don't know how it was actually pronounced, but he hears about it from Forrest and he's like, all right, I gotta figure out what the fuck's going on here. And also he was remembering the natives that he drove out, and clearly there was more to the story there. So he ends up seeking out Mamufet and they have a whole conversation where they go back and forth and he's like, look, I can just put you to sleep and you won't have to worry
but
about
you're
this.
missing Tiffany, chime in. What part is she missing in regards to this trip with Mamufet? Like how did he end up there and what was shown?
I know that like he shows up because of like all the magic that they're doing and stuff. That kind of like draws him in that area.
Yeah, because he's a shaman and he's drawn to magic.
But what is chilling on this guy's walls?
Oh, the skulls of like
I was getting there, you bitch.
I don't think you were. You were skipping right through by erasing talking about the vision stuff like yeah, that's when he looks into his own skull.
No, but he had the reason that he was even willing to talk to him was because he remembered that he had something to do with the native people. You don't remember that part?
No, I do.
You just read it.
Whoa. Okay. So like Wynonna was saying, Mamufet's like kind of tricking him, basically. Yeah. Hey, I could just push you to sleep. You don't have to worry about it. Just take a look at this one particular skull mask. By the way, there's like a mask over the skull. That's like a pretty important part because later. So he does, and he gets trapped inside the skull mask, and that's when Mamufet's like, listen man, I get right now, you can just go to sleep, you don't have to worry about all this pain and the slaying and all this shit, just go to sleep, buddy. And so because he remembers like he did kill a lot of people, like a lot of fucking people, burning villages, slitting throats, all of that.
He just wants to sleep, bro, like all of us do. Just wants to sleep, bro.
Yeah, and in general, like Mamufet's not really showing him all the other stuff he did as well. He's just focusing on the slaying part, which obviously is not the only thing that he wants to be.
Is Samson always listening to Slayer's Raining Blood when he's killing people?
You know what? Yeah, I would. That would be the soundtrack. That would be the soundtrack of the movie if they make it. If they make this into a movie, for sure. So
yes, I want to see that.
So Samson agrees, and he starts going to sleep. Abitha wakes up in a holding cell. She's been beaten, before getting there by the squad, the cunt squad.
The gaggle of cunts.
Yeah, and she's got a fucked up leg, broken, and she's now being like led to a courtroom with the magistrate that has threatened to come down and fuck up Reverend Carter up the ass, because he hates him. And unfortunately, she doesn't have anybody in town that is gonna vouch for her or stand up for her or anything. Everybody in town is like, yeah, listen, she was giving out charms and trinkets, and they're burning me. Ah, blah.
Yeah, they're all spazzing out in the court, like, oh my god.
And I mean, and no one could speak in favor for her because as soon as they did, they were
Yeah.
like, "Dad, nope, you're evil too."
Yeah. So there's like no
There's very much mob mentality, and
Mhm.
As
as
you would
soon
think.
as soon as Sarah is also accused, they're like, no, never mind, because I'm gonna end up in the same boat.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because fucking she decided to bring their daughter into it, and fucking Reverend's like, no, the fuck you doing? And he's like, shut the fuck up, or I'm throwing you out of the courtroom. This needs to happen.
And then Martha ends up saying, I saw like a horned angel.
Well, no. Martha doesn't even say angel. She just straight up is like, no, I saw a demon with horns, and that's it.
Yeah,
It's
and
pretty
then,
fucked up. I think Martha's such a bitch. As soon as I read that, I was like, you fucking little cunt.
Martha's a bitch. Helen was a bitch.
You
Everybody's a
died.
bitch.
Well,
Yeah.
Helen disappeared. Helen wasn't even a part of that.
Oh no, she was. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she was part of. That was part of the group. It's literally even like in that thing. And like,
Well, yeah, but Helen is like a servant girl, really. Like she has no standing in the community.
Also, we also did skip the part where before the trial when
we're not reading we can't read the whole book.
I understand that, but they all went up to the damn fucking to the Reverend's fucking house. All the whole town was like, we have proof. This bitch is a witch.
Yeah, well, obviously the Reverend's like not wanting this to get out of hand and the mob mentality thing because he witnessed that kind of stuff happening in Hartford, and that's why he got away. And he thought, oh, I could rule this little small hamlet and not have this happen here. But literally the worst thing happened, just what he was trying to get away from.
Yeah, the fucking the Rough Riders came to town anyway.
So aside from that, they also now are trying to, the magistrate really hates the Reverend, and so he's like, all right, Sarah, why don't you come here and tell me about how your daughter got cured of the measles? And Sarah's kind of like, I did nothing wrong. I am a godly woman, and it was just ointments. But then Martha is what blows up the spot, basically, and it's just like, no, Abby over here is the devil. So they torture Sarah. They try to get her to confess that she's like in league with Abitha, but she's just standing by her innocence. They find that they try making her bleed in like little devil.
Yeah,
what like birthmarks? Like, do you have a birthmark?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
and like they're over here talking about how like, these women being naked is what like bewitches other people, but they're like standing off.
Yeah, that was one
They're
of the
standing off to the side while this woman's being tortured and naked by these. How are you? How are you the more like?
And
that was evidence that Ansel proved too. Like, look at her titties. This is witchcraft.
Yeah. Well, also, and they mentioned that in the like Abby and stuff is like, this is ridiculous. You should be ashamed of yourselves, kind of thing. God is watching, trying to get them. But Ansel and the others that are like hardcore into this are just like, wow, who are you to talk, you witchy bitch?
Like, how dare you?
I am not afraid of you, witch. I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot. You do not scare me. I do as I please.
All you do is walk around and scream the devil. Shut up.
Yeah, so she's trying to call out to Samson, and unfortunately, there's no Samson coming, baby.
Yeah, that shit's going left the voicemail, bro.
Yeah, so Samson. We're back to Samson. He's trying to kind of like ignore all the whispers that are coming around, and he's trying to keep on sleeping. But Forrest appears, and even though he knows that this is going to get him fucking killed, he needs to rescue Samson. This is the only way. And he knows that Abitha has been trapped by the town and stuff. So, he tries using that. Hey, if you don't get out of this, man, Abitha is going to get hung. She's going to get strung up and it'll be over. And that's it. You can't make kisses with her anymore or whatever the fuck you've been doing. And so
it's just the whole ghosting with the fucking pot. That's all they've been doing.
Yes, so he's trying to kind of also force him to now remember everything. Like he's given up the whole pretense of like just focusing on the slaying aspect of everything. So he kind of tells him that all of the masks that this fucking shaman dude has on his wall are all like the wild folk. Like
Mhm.
he's been
It's
like
like, look around. These are your people. Like, why are you even?
They're all
supporting it?
trophies of all those you love.
Yeah, but so Forrest is trying to pull the mask off the wall. He's like, If I can get your mask off and you can finally remember everything and reveal like your true self." And Samson can kind of see what he used to be, which was like this beautiful golden stag, which really reminded me of Princess Mononoke too. And also the masks with the shaman kind of thing.
Yeah,
That kind of also
it's true.
reminded me of Princess
No,
Mononoke.
I fucking loved those fucking creepy little masks, bro. They were so cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So a Celtic story is that the god of the hunt is a stag.
Yeah. So yeah, a beautiful golden stag, and he was super powerful at one point. But the tribe, the Pequot tribe, and other I guess native tribes, they came to the land over the Great Ice Bridge at some point, and at first they were scared of this big beautiful golden stag, but eventually they kind of got used to him, and then they kind of worshiped him. They started worshiping him, and that kind of felt good. Samson liked it, at the time, and everything was kind of going good. But then the Mamafet guy, this shaman dude, he comes into the picture, and he learns about this, the pawpaw tree and all the fruit and all the magic, and he's able to like kind of craft and use the magic for himself. And he starts getting really super greedy with it, making potions and all that kind of stuff, and basically,
His,
it.
his, his plan was like, listen, I've run my well dry with the natives, but I want to start doing some of this work with these new people that are coming from far beyond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So instead of the fruit, he's also killing like the wild folk, that
Yeah,
are around,
the blood
and
of the wild
yeah,
folk.
and using their magic to create more shit. So everybody's just like kind of getting murdered out here. So at this point, Samson has no choice. Forrest, I guess, kind of concocts a plan to kind of mingle his blood or their blood into this like crazy ritual and empower Samson to become this like giant man slaying beast. And so Samson reluctantly, drinks the potion and becomes this like horned devil guy and goes after the tribe, the Pequot tribe, and starts like hacking, killing, all of that stuff. And unfortunately, Mama Fett wins. He cuts off Samson's head and imprisons him and puts him to sleep. And it seems like the shaman dude's been also around for like 200 years or something, because he just doesn't age just from that magic that he got from them. And so once Samson shows up, this is great for Mama Fett. He's like, great, I could get a little more magic out of this motherfucker. And so
Route two, motherfucker, let's go.
so while Forrest is like trying to get through to Samson, Creek and Sky are like running around the actual forest trying to lead Mama Fett away from the cave. Unfortunately, they get caught. And Mumfit's got him in a bag, and now he's gonna go after Forrest and basically chop his head off. So Samson's like, no, no, I have to stop this, I have to stop this. And he kind of fights against the mask, and finally breaks through, and the magic doesn't really hold Samson back anymore. And after Samson gets out, he realizes that the skulls are empowering this motherfucker. So he's like smashing all the skulls on the wall of this cave, and as soon as he starts doing that, this guy starts losing his magic, and he starts withering away into an old fucking husk. And that was pretty sweet. Like that battle, I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
Wasn't he also stabbing the shit out of Forrest?
Yeah.
It
Yes,
was
he
like,
would stab
no, and it
Forrest.
was
Yeah.
as he was like prison shanking him in the background.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
and
just like, if I'm going down, this one's going down too.
yeah,
Yep.
Forrest did try to fight against Mama Fett, but unfortunately,
Mama Faye had that shiv on him. He was like, no.
yeah, and Forrest does die at this point. He's
Yeah,
out of the
he
picture.
he got iced. It was a wrap for him.
So Abitha, she's still alive, but barely. She's being strung up, hung up, and it's kind of gruesome actually. All the blood is like flowing into her head, and she's about to pop basically. But in the meantime, they oh, you there was the one thing you missed in notes here. It was Sarah. Sarah gets squeezed by the
By the door and the stones.
by the
Yeah.
door and the stone. Yeah, and so Sarah is basically still being trying to convince to just say, "Hey, I am a witch." This is to embarrass the Reverend because the magistrate super hates the Reverend, and also, this is the only way she can also like save herself. And the magistrate kind of wants to, he kind of doesn't want to kill her because it kind of looks bad if he kills like this prominent
Well,
Reverend's wife.
he was already starting to have doubts about from the trial all the way to that point. Is like, man, I really don't want to kill her because the Reverend will make good on his word. He will go to the governor. This shit is not going to look hot on me, bro. I kind of want to
Yeah.
like give so many opportunities to recant and repent and admit that she was doing all this shit, so then it'd be a lighter sentence. So then you didn't have to worry about executing her.
And eventually she does recant as she's like literally knocking on death's door. She's
Well,
like blue and purple.
And that's because her son runs up.
No,
Her
her
Just her daughter.
her daughter Martha.
No, yeah, but she had a
They
son
don't have
too.
a son.
Uh-uh.
Who was the male that ran up? There was a
no
male
male.
that ran up, and then she saw him, and then saw the daughter in the
Her
distance.
husband?
No, her husband.
No,
was
no, her husband actually never. By the
she
by
had,
the end
she
of
had
the
a
book,
son.
by
There
the
was no son.
Yeah, the Reverend was in the stockades.
yeah,
No,
he was.
There was no son. It was
negative.
Was it?
The no
Maybe there was a son.
the Reverend was trapped in the stockades. He kind of made a scene because they were basically taking away Sarah because she was conspiring with a witch. She was deemed conspiring with a witch anyway. And so the Reverend was stuck, and so
Yeah, because he didn't even know that she was being
No,
pressed.
it
He
was
found-
Martha because
yeah, it's Martha.
Martha said like
There's
Dad,
no other answer.
Dad's in the stocks. It's just me out here. I need
Yeah.
you. Like I can't have you die.
Yeah, that's Martha.
That's what Martha. You're ridiculous.
No,
You just
I
read
could be wrong.
You are wrong.
Okay, it doesn't matter because that character, whoever it was, wasn't important. Martha was important because she's the one who convinced her mom to say, yes, I did conspire with the devil. Okay? All right,
So
great.
she ends up saying like, yes, I conspired with the devil.
Yeah.
They let her up. Blah blah blah. And at this point, this is
So
when
so now Abitha feels alone. She's got nobody. She's
Mhm.
she's now being assaulted by the guards. They're like, "Yo, I don't want to be here anymore. We're from Hartford. We kind of want to go back." So they
Yeah,
start
like,
choking her out.
watch you die. Like, can you die faster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they start choking her out. But
No, yeah, you're right.
I know.
You're right. I was slow. I thought there was someone else. I apologize.
Damn, you just finished it too.
Yeah, I
Sa- so Samson arrives. He is no longer a goat, just like a goat demon dude. He is now like a golden stagish. Like he's kind of retained some of that stag because he was able to like combine back with that skull.
he became David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, sure. We could say that. He was able to combine with that skull and kind of regain some of that magic luster that he once lost. And he realized that he is not only just a killer, he is also, a life giver. He's both, which is great, which is how that kind of works. You got the circle of life, So Abitha wakes up and she's dying. And Samson's like, listen, you have a choice here. You can live out your days as a cripple with these wounds that will never heal, or you can drink my blood and you kind of become part of me. You kind of get that kind of
you become me.
magic spirit powers.
Mhm.
But at that point you're gonna start killing people. A lot of people.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, they already killed me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
They,
Well,
they,
she's like, Abitha's dead.
yeah, we didn't really go into it, but they were torturing her for like days, and
Yeah.
they were making her watch Sarah get tortured too, and it's pretty
They also
gruesome.
forgot they were tormenting her with her fucking cat that they hung.
Yeah, Buka, which is another.
They
like I
also
said, big
just
part.
they kept her closed up in this tiny cage where
With
she
a
could
broken
barely
leg.
move.
With a
Yeah.
broken leg.
It was buckled.
Yeah, so Abitha takes the blood. She begins healing right away, but she's also kind of slowly turning into horns and goat feet, hooves and stuff. And she kind of combines with that snake that she saw in the dream.
Mhm.
she becomes part of that viper, and she's like burning red, and she starts killing all the guards one by one, and she can see now, the ghost of her, which we forgot also the braid that was taken away from her
And was
and
thrown in the
destroyed.
fire.
Yeah, destroyed. So
Then
she
to
she
get to that,
lost that one thing that of her
Yeah.
mother's that she really fought hard to keep through,
Never take
the
away
whole.
someone's last 1%. Never take it away from them. That's all they got. That's all they're holding on to before they snap.
Yep.
So at
This is
this,
like you already won. Why did you need to take that?
yeah,
You were gonna win. Like why?
Yeah, she bit the guy's fucking thumb, and, it was
and like quite
no.
frankly, if they would have just killed her from the get, none of this would have happened.
yeah,
You
it,
just
it would have been,
torture her.
yeah, this torturous like shit that they had her go through was just so over. It was over. It was just
And it
stop.
was all Wallace's fault.
And
Wallace is a lying piece of shit.
there was not a single person in that village that even tried to be like on her side, like at
Besides
all.
Red-
Like
Red-
Yeah.
yeah.
And Sarah and
No, Sarah wasn't really on her side.
well,
Not
she
really.
she was, until
but like once she
No,
realized,
no, it was more that Sarah was like, I didn't do witchery.
yeah, she was like,
No,
I
no,
didn't
no. She
do this.
wasn't. She was saying she was just not admitting that she was like part of it. You know what I mean? She
Yeah,
was like
but
still
she wasn't
holy.
really on Abitha's side. She was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Sorry.
she was like, it's just not. This just didn't happen. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
That was
So-
it. She wasn't really on her side.
I mean, she was, but not during the trials. She was like out for my own skin, but she didn't really say it outright either.
No, she didn't say it outright, and she wasn't supporting the trial, but she was also like,
Which was her that was her silent
What do you
protest.
mean?
That was her silent protest, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
That was it.
So at this point, the magistrate like sends out a few like guards because they hear, like, they see, I think, a fire, and they also hear like screams out into the wilderness. They think that it's just natives attacking, and like go they don't know it's the devil basically. They basically one of the guards escapes. Abitha follows and paralyzes the guard as he's trying to crawl away and hide. He begs for mercy, but she like fucking kills him, slits him, whatever, sets
Like,
the
fuck
stable
your
on
mercy.
fire. Yeah.
Mercy.
The captain shows up. Abitha is alive and well, and she's standing with Samson. They try shooting at them, and they're able to hit them, but they're demons. They can kind of heal pretty quickly. They chase after them. Again, they're being shot at and stuff, and Abitha kind of like conjures all these like insects to go after them. I guess she's like a very insect focused, magic
I am
user.
the bug lady.
Yeah, the bug lady. And she starts using mosquitoes and engulfing them in mosquito clouds, and that's kind of funny too. I like that. There's a game called what was it? Grim Dawn, which is like an ARPG like Diablo, and one of the characters you play kind of like a shamanesque kind of character, and he has like mosquito clouds that drain blood, and you gain like HP back. So I was thinking about that, but anyway.
The grand suckers.
So she walks up to Wallace in the town. She sees him in the stockade. She sets him free. He's obviously freaked out. He's like, "Oh shit, you are the devil." But he kind of accepts it, because he only cares about his wife at this point. He just wants to get back to his wife. So Abitha is now like, listen, Wallace is next up on my list. So she heads over to his house. Charity, the daughter. Oh yeah, she's such a bitch. We didn't really go into it about Charity, but she's one of the worst people in the town. And she's also very good at just pretending. Like, she was one of those girls that was like, Abitha's charms are poisoning me, and all the girls kind of follow this girl's lead. Like, she's like the girl from the Crucible. I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abigail.
Yeah, is it
Sure.
Abigail? Okay, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, so she's kind of like that, very manipulative, and so Wallace is like, whatever, because she's kind of talking back to him, but she starts freaking out because Abitha is there, and I believe she starts choking on something, a bug.
The beetle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're fast forwarding to the from the slayings
Yeah,
of
we've
the
been
town
talking
to
for
the
2.5 hours. We do have to get to.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
We're
so
almost there.
We went straight to the Wallace's residence, and like, It's time to murder you,
No,
bitches.
no, but that is where we are at the story, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wallace is obviously surprised by Abitha appearing behind him holding a big old fucking blade. He tries to get away from her, but she's like super, you know, kind of with all her demon magic. So she basically tells Charity that, you know, you gotta carve a big old L into your head
Loser.
well, liar, for liar, because she's a liar. She's a big fat
Loser.
liar.
Wanna be.
What a lame-o.
But she tells Charity and her mother to leave, so she was kind of nice about that, I guess.
I mean, she was all like, "No, like you're gonna be saved for later," and goes to Samson's like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
she's
I'll
like
come
your
for you guys
typical God,
later."
where she's like, this is the mercy I'm granting you.
Yeah.
Take it or don't.
Yeah. But Wallace has no mercy here. He's kind of
Yeah.
been hacked up a little bit already by Abitha as she's like stalking the house. And she sends like some beetles up his fucking arm and eats him away and stuff. And at this point, the sheriff runs to the town, gets all the town together. They all meet at the meeting house. You know, Abitha is like, you know, I'm not done. I got to get Ansel still, and he's heading toward the meeting house. So
Mhm.
she runs after Ansel. They end up in the meeting house where they're just kind of firing at Abitha like at point blank, basically, and she's getting.
Shooting at both of them, both her and fucking Samson. Like, nah, man.
Well, Samson is farther back and he's slowly healing, so he's not taking as much damage at this point. But Abitha is like full on taking like volley after volley, so
Mhm.
she can't heal as quickly.
And also, he's told her before, like, he's like, you are not invincible. Like, you are not
Yeah.
invincible like I am. Like, it is still a little bit easier to kill you.
Yeah, so basically she kind of like, you know, for her revenge, her lust for revenge kind of got the better of her.
Yeah.
And unfortunately she kind of like, you know, keels over a little bit. And he tries, Samson tries to heal her and everything, but
Samson and the Reverend try to heal her.
right, yeah, they come in together with a prayer, you know, like because, you know, she was nice to the Reverend. She did what she could. She saved his daughter, you know.
He was basically like, "You were nice to me. You get to live." The high school shooter bullshit.
Unfortunately, she doesn't survive, and Samson is obviously very upset at this. So he
Very
heads toward the meeting house, and he kind of, you know, messes around with the villagers to kind of sends in some spirit animals, and they're shooting at each other and blowing each other up. But specifically, what he wants is to Ansel to just fucking crawl away like a little Weasley worm that he is, and he does. He jumps out the window, and as soon as he does, he grabs him and it kind of forces him to follow along, and he has a wolf pack with him, and they kind of get to where the pawpaw tree is. It's a very dangly dead root basically at this point, and he has Abitha with him, and you know, he makes one last sacrifice to the pawpaw tree and just slits
Yes.
Ansel's throat and lets him bleed out slowly. And at this point, you know, we flash forward to like 1976 or something like
Vietnam
that.
War.
Yeah, like mid 70s, somewhere around there. And
It was 1972.
yeah, and it's a well, yeah, you read it in like an hour ago. We got a couple of hunters in West Virginia, so they're no longer in Connecticut.
Mhm.
And they're just hunting, and they happen upon a hut somewhere in the woods, deep woods and stuff, and they're kind of called in by, you know, like a smell of food and stuff. And it's basically
Hunting,
Abitha. Yeah.
and then the hunting as well.
Yeah. And so it's basically Abitha. She kind of invites them to dinner. They're the dinner.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where the story ends. And overall, like again, if you want, this is still a great story for Halloween for obvious reasons and stuff. But it's just that time of year for this kind of like Halloweeny slash Thanksgiving-y, you know, say thanks. I mean, it's kind of like it leaves kind of a hopeful thing too. Like she was able to kind of get away from all that crap, and she was able to kind of, which we didn't touch upon, but she basically, the one thing in her heart that she really wanted was to just be part of the wild folk. Basically, she wanted to
Yeah.
be a fairy little princess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It was
and
great. Mhm.
yeah, and it's a great story, and obviously, you know, if this guy Brom, the author, wants to pick up after this, he could, because, and I would definitely read it. I would be interested. What would a, I guess she's a satyr, right? That's what she is.
Yeah.
like with the
Mhm.
hooves and the horns.
She was basically able to become like salmon now,
Samson.
or Samson.
No, it's salmon.
Salmon.
The fish. I'm sorry.
It's salmon.
She became fish now. But, no, yeah. I mean, it was a very interesting ending for sure.
I think some of the witch trial stuff, like in terms of like squeezing the Reverend's wife Sarah, like that was pretty brutal. I think that whole witch trial really pissed me off the entire time. I was
There
like,
was a lot of shit, and I'm like, bro, this really sucks ass.
and they honestly just did not give a shit. They just wanted to kill, they wanted to murder and maim, and just like, yeah, it's sad that it's part of our history.
I think what was interesting though is like seeing that because so in like Christian ideologies there's a lot of this idea of punishment, and like people can only be one thing or the other. You can only be good or you can be bad, whereas like you have Samson, for example, who is both. He is
Yeah.
good and he is bad, he's done both. And the same thing with Abitha. When she becomes like him, she can do good and she can do bad, and it's just based on choices. And I think that like that was what was most interesting about the book for me, was that it kind of got away from that like weird Christian thing. Like for example, I wrote a note in my list that basically was about the whole pride. There was like a comment about her being prideful. I don't understand why pride would be a sin. Like it doesn't make sense to me that being prideful, being happy for what you can do, is a problem.
I guess the idea is that maybe it kind of leads to other sins. You know what I mean? Like thinking yourself above God in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the
It's
only
just
thing I
not
think of.
a thing in like pagan ideologies. It's not a thing. Like there's no idea of like you being above God or being below God. Like gods are not omnipresent, they're not omniscient, they're not omni-good, they're not benevolent, like they are all of us and none of us at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true. Tiffany, do you have any closing thoughts on the book?
Don't fuck with nature,
Yeah.
just mind your business.
Mind your business. I like that. That's a good one.
And if you see animals,
Because the whole thing was like Samson was clearly fine with natives who were like respectful and
Yeah.
like like basically Samson just wanted a community, and
He
the
did,
people that
yeah.
fucked with it was like, all right, I got to take you out. So if as long as you were mind your business, you don't take too much, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's greedy people.
The real sin here is greed. The whole
Yes.
story, the real sin is just greed. Wallace,
Yes.
greedy.
Yeah. He could have
that
taken the honey.
greedy.
Yeah, he could have taken the honey and the whatever money she gave him and been squared.
Yeah.
You know?
But instead
Wallace, greedy. Forrest, greedy.
Mhm.
Mamufet, greedy. That was really the problem in the whole
Greed.
book. It was about greed. It wasn't really
selfishness and greed.
But it was they packaged it into pride and lust and women, bringing themselves above the men in the story.
So what you're saying is capitalism is bad.
Yes.
That's an argument that I could have all day long.
I am a 50-50 person, but I am also a consumer.
Yeah, we know.
So thank you for listening to our podcast.
No
here.
final words for.
I gave my final word.
No final words for me.
Oh, I don't know. Do you have a final word?
No final statement.
I'm sorry.
No, you know what? What was your final statement? Did you already give your final statement?
Yeah, I started off, but this whole like
I
final.
thought we're talking like quotes. Well, my quote is, and this is a long-term
Okay.
thing, military, is don't fuck with the wildlife.
Okay. That's kind of like Tiffany's. Sure. Okay.
Tiffany's. Good job.
Good
Great
job.
final thought. 10 out of 10.
I love it.
That's all right. It's about sharing.
Yeah. See,
It's all about
Tiffany,
sharing.
Oh, look, the greed. The
Tiffany
greed.
learned Tiffany got the lesson from the book. She's all about sharing.
She's all about sharing.
Okay.
Like I would definitely be Abitha in the forest with the animals. Like just leave me be. Leave me alone.
Yeah, what? Like, why not?
Yeah, but now I want to see the second book because I'm hearing fucking Huey's Unfortunate Son playing in the background.
I wonder if he ever will revisit like the story. There is no second book to this book, right?
Oh,
I don't
Okay.
think so. No.
Okay, yeah, I wonder if
But
he'll
yeah, there
revisit.
definitely could be.
Oh, actually, now that I think about it, we said at the beginning it came out in 2023. It's this September, so even if there was going to be, it's going to be a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going
I
to be
mean,
a few years.
his most well-read book, I would believe, is The Child Thief. I think that one is much more common.
Ooh, okay. I mean that sounds like something I'm gonna have to. Well, maybe we'll do a we'll do a whole thing about it then. Oh, that's great. Yeah, all right. So yeah, well, we'll be back soon. We'll talk about we're thinking about another fantasy book. We're fantasy, right? We're thinking about
Mhm.
what was it?
House of the Dragon, but the book version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
So
that's called. Iron Blood or something.
That I will not be able to read during stream.
no, please
Yeah.
don't.
Probably plan this one out a little bit better.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
don't do that again for your to yourself. Not we have fun messing with you. It's
Yeah,
not
I feel like
not
it's
for
just
us.
too much stress.
Yeah, it's a lot of stress. You
I
like the high
am-
pressure.
I am a diamond in the rough.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So
You-
much pressure.
Yeah.
Narcissism.
It's the
So yeah, until the next book, happy reading. Bye.
Bye.
Wow.